President disavowing the G7 statement, sobering and a little depressing, adding Europe will also act against U.S. tariffs. This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
In Chicago, 62 degrees, 5:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police say 11 were shot, including 3 who died in a 3-hour span on the city's south and west sides. Police say 6 were shot in the West Woodlawn neighborhood alone around 1 a.m. Sunday. One of them, a 39-year-old man, died. An investigation continues after 3 family members were found dead inside of a home in southwest suburban Darien. Bodies were discovered early yesterday inside of an apartment near 75th and Farmingdale Drive. Their identities or cause of death have not been released. No one is in custody after an elderly woman was found beaten to death on Chicago's far south side. Police say the victim was discovered early yesterday near 100th and Forest Avenues. The 81-year-old had suffered severe trauma to her body. Her death is being investigated as a homicide. 2 house fires in suburban Brookfield. One was deadly. Both incidents happened early Sunday morning. A woman and her dog were unable to make it out alive. It happened in the 4300 block of Arthur Drive. Neighbors called 911 after hearing the dog barking and then seeing the house ablaze. Cause remains under investigation, and not far away, a home in the 3400 block of McCormick was struck by lightning. Neighbors say no one was home at the time of that lightning strike and fire. An Arizona man and a Lyft driver are facing DUI charges following a deadly crash last week in Chicago's Logan Square neighborhood. Police say Travis Anderson was driving a Toyota Avalon Friday when he collided with a rideshare vehicle near North and Humboldt. A passenger in the Lyft vehicle died on the way to the hospital. The man driving the Avalon, Travis Anderson, was charged with aggravated driving under the influence, resulting in death. The rideshare driver charged with a misdemeanor count of driving under the influence of a drug. Family members of a Chicago teen found dead last month are now asking for the public's help in figuring out how she died. Sadaria Davis was discovered May 11 on the floor of a vacant West Side apartment building. The 15-year-old had been missing since late April. Anyone with information about Davis's death is asked to call Area North detectives. 5 men and 2 women wounded following an apparent gang-related shooting at a child's birthday party in Aurora. Police say the shots were fired early yesterday on West Park Avenue. All of the victims were hospitalized. 1 remains in critical condition. There's new but very early polling that showed J.B. Pritzker with a lead in the race for Illinois governor. Quad City Times conducted that poll, giving Pritzker a 16-point lead over Governor Bruce Rauner. The lead jumps to 76% when pollsters asked voters in Chicago and Cook County who they plan to vote for. Voters will decide between Pritzker and Rauner in November. Illinois, one of 8 states on the list of states where tainted melon slices could be on store shelves. The CDC saying Cato Foods recalled melons that were sliced at its Indianapolis factory. 60 in Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Missouri, and Ohio have gotten sick. The recalled melon was sent to many places like Costco, Kroger, Payless, Trader Joe's, Walgreens, Walmart, and Whole Foods. The U.S. Army is scouting large cities at this hour, trying to find a new home for a new command headquarters, so it will be close to academia and industry. First, for the service. 15 cities are in contention, including Atlanta, Austin, Boston, Chicago, Dallas, Minneapolis, Philadelphia, Raleigh, North Carolina, San Diego, Seattle, and others. Army officials are now visiting the finalists. So far, they've been to Boston, Raleigh, and Austin. Futures Command will have a staff of roughly 500 and be led by a 4-star general. It will try and figure out what the emerging threats are, what equipment will be needed, and how to use it. Site for the Futures Command headquarters is expected to be announced by the end of June. Pirates reel off 5 runs in the 6th inning. They knock off the Cubs 7-1 at Wrigley Field. Kyle Hendricks took the tough loss for Chicago, 5 frames of 1-run ball. White Sox put the game away with Daniel Palka's 2-run double in the top of the ninth, grabbing a 5-2 win over the Red Sox at Fenway. U.S. Open begins Thursday at Shinnecock Hills in Southampton, New York. The warm-up, of course, is the FedEx St. Jude's Classic in Memphis. Dustin Johnson, 19 under par to win what we fondly remember as the Danny Thomas Classic. Rafael Nadal is the winner of the French Open for the 11th time in his career. The news a service of Discover Student Loans. Figuring out how to cover college costs, Discover Student Loans is one of the top private student loan lenders in the country with great rates, 0 fees. Plus, students can earn a cash reward for their good grades. Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today, and limitations apply. 5:07, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It's become a summer tradition. Rockin' for the Troops returns this summer on July 14th at Northwestern Medicine Field in Geneva, home of the Kane County Cougars. Don't miss this year's lineup featuring Seventh Heaven, Ayla Brown, Rocky Lynn, The Voices, and Ryan Weaver. Proceeds will benefit Operation Support Our Troops America. Get your tickets today at rockinforthetroops.org. That's rockinforthetroops.org.
Hey, honey, did you hear all the buzz about those smart pills for your brain that are being used to enhance focus, memory, and creativity? It would be so amazing to have that kind of mental advantage at work. I'd love to find out which smart pill is the best and where we can get it.
Yeah, the world is so competitive. We could all use an advantage. Hey, why don't we just ask Siri? Siri knows everything. Siri will know. Okay, hey Siri, what is the best smart pill on the market today?
Searching the web. Here's what I found for the best smart pill on the market. Limitless is customer rated at the top. Take Limitless and within 30 minutes, you will experience a big boost in memory, concentration, and creativity. You don't need a prescription, and the results are guaranteed. Call Limitless now for a special free bottle offer.
To find out how to get your free bottle of Limitless, call 800-605-1653. That's 800-605-1653. Get your free bottle for a limited time. Call now, 800-605-1653, 800-605-1653.
Squirrely is a hard-working squirrel that enjoys life to the fullest, eager to take on new challenges and experiences alongside Starlet, his soulmate, and the love of his life. Read Squirrely the Squirrel and Starlet and see the world through the eyes of a newborn squirrel. You'll delight in the antics of Squirrely, Starlet, and their little family. A heartwarming adventure that teaches family values. Beautifully illustrated, a great story time read. Squirrely the Squirrel and Starlet from Larry Friend. Available now at litfirepublishing.com. You will fall in love with Icy the Iceberg, the new, highly original children's book from Larry Friend. Follow Icy on his incredible journey, beginning his life as a sparkling snowflake and emerging as a beautiful blue floating iceberg. Icy the Iceberg is a joy for parents and kids alike. Experience together the fun creatures Icy encounters along his journey from snowflake to iceberg and back to snowflake. Kids will learn the complexities of the water cycle in a way they'll really enjoy. Icy the Iceberg, available now at litfirepublishing.com.
5:10. Check of the early morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good Monday morning, Mike. Kennedy Expressway inbound. The entrance ramp for Madison is now closed till August 9th, and the exit ramp to Monroe, the inbound Kennedy, is scheduled to close by sometime this evening. Elsewhere right now, the expressways and tollways, things look pretty good for the most part, despite the wet roadways. On the Kennedy, express lanes are open on the inbound side. You have had some overnight work that has cleared. There is still some work on the northbound Tri-State Duffy to Bradley in the left lane. There is a new schedule on Metro's BNSF line in effect today with the implementation of the new positive train control safety system. So Metro Rail has the particulars there. South side got a stabbing report at 75th King Drive. Traffic service LifeLock. No one wants to wake up to the news that they're the victim of identity theft or that malware is attacking their smartphone. That's why new LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Join at lifelock.com. Use promo code RISK to save an additional 10% off your first year. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Spotty drizzle for the morning, otherwise today, rather cloudy, high 73. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low 62. Warmer tomorrow with more clouds than sun, high 82 and a low 63. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
62 at O'Hare, 57 along the lakefront. Our next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And after the G7 dust-up featuring Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, I have just one question, Amy. Do you think that when Trudeau gets his calf implants, he'll use the Canadian national healthcare system, or he'll come to America like Stephen Harper did when he needed a heart procedure? He went over to
Mayo?
Yeah, to Mayo.
Yeah,
that's
no,
right.
you know what? I'm thinking he's going to go with a New York plastic surgeon, because if you're going to get those calf implants, you want to go with the best one possible.
Well, it's probably sound medical advice. I don't know.
I'm just saying.
But we know that his eyebrows appear to be fake.
Well, that happens when you get old. And
well, he's I don't know how to break this to you.
What?
I believe he's younger than you.
That's rude. Well, when men start losing their hair at an earlier age than women do.
Really?
It starts with the brows.
Do you know a lot of
and
guys?
And then they do the threading.
You know a lot of guys that wear fake eyebrows?
There are some, yeah.
Well,
we have a new threading place on Southport, and I have seen men walk in there, yeah. Have you ever thread? Don't you thread? Everybody threads.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, so it's when you're missing eyebrows on a part, they thread a fake lash, well, real hair, onto your remaining lashes, and then it hangs over to make look like a real eyebrow.
It looked like a caterpillar was crawling above his eye, but then now there's some dispute about this. This is great. This is the big takeaway from the G Summit. Does Justin Trudeau have, or does he not have a fake eyebrow? This one person suggesting, with some detailed analysis, Sean Craig on Twitter, the photographic record shows Trudeau's left eyebrow grows thicker on the bottom along the supraorbital ridge. A streak of thinner hair parts upward close to the glabella. That's why it can look like a fake eyebrow is falling off. Okay, Sean.
Thank you.
Why don't you go outside and play? Why don't you take a little break from analyzing his eyebrows? But it looked to me like there was a fake eyebrow falling down just above his eyeball when he was speaking. That wasn't the most offensive thing. The most offensive thing was his preening before his kind of domestic audience. When he held a presser after the G Summit, after Trump was a safe distance away, and had this to say about President Trump and how he told him what time it was.
It was not helping in our renegotiation of NAFTA, and that it would be with regret, but it would be with absolute certainty and firmness that we move forward with retaliatory measures on July 1st, applying equivalent tariffs to the ones that the Americans have unjustly applied to us. I have made it very clear to the President that it is not something we relish doing, but it is something that we absolutely will do, because Canadians, we're polite, we're reasonable, but we also will not be pushed around.
And we love hockey. They're not going to be pushed around. You're not going to push Justin Trudeau around.
Because his fake eyebrow might fall off.
Or it'll come after you, that fake eyebrow. It's got a mind of its own.
You don't know about our mean streak.
So after he did an about-face from what Larry Kudlow, Trump's chief economic advisor, and the president had to say about the G Summit upon his exit, after he heard the shots that were being taken, Trump tweeted, based on Justin's false statements at his news conference, and the fact that Canada is charging massive tariffs to our U.S. farmers, workers, and companies, I've instructed our U.S. reps not to endorse the communique as we look at tariffs on automobiles flooding the U.S. market. So it kind of blew the whole thing up. He also tweeted, PM Justin Trudeau of Canada acted so meek and mild during our G7 meetings, only to give a news conference after I left, saying that U.S. tariffs were kind of insulting and he will not be pushed around. Very dishonest and weak. Our tariffs are in response to his 270% tariff on dairy. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Is this something that Trump has instigated? And you can't blame a socialist for behaving like a socialist and hurting his consumers because Trump is hurting American consumers with his tariff play. Or was Trump right to stand up to Trudeau so, as Larry Kudlow said, not to demonstrate any weakness in advance of his summit meeting with Kim Jong-un this week?
Well, and Trump's trade advisor, Peter Navarro, he went on Fox News Sunday and said there's a special place in hell for people like Trudeau. I thought that it was just, the hyperbole was a little too much. I think we have to rein it back in, folks. We're talking about $600 million in dairy, and we protect our tobacco, they protect their dairy. And according to CNN and all these other analysts they had on, there's a surplus in trade with Canada that we have right now.
Well, that's right.
So, like,
no
why
question.
are we kicking the hornet's nest?
Well, that's what
when that's our ally, and this just seems a little strange.
Well, Stephen Harper was on with Maria Bartiromo, former Canadian PM, who was much more free market than Trudeau, much more reasonable than Trudeau and the socialists that have taken over Canada. And that's sort of the point that Harper was making.
I can understand why President Trump, why the American people feel they need some better trade relationships. If they wanted to take on the relationship with China, even some aspects of the relationship with Mexico around autos, I'd be, the first person telling our government to be a partner in those things because I think Canada shares those concerns. I don't understand the obsession with, trade relations with Canada. Not only is the trade deficit with Canada small, the United States runs a current account surplus with Canada. Canada is the biggest single purchaser of U.S. goods and services in the world. It's not China, it's not Mexico, it's not Britain, it's not Germany, it's Canada. So, it just seems to me this is the wrong target. And from what I understand of American public opinion, I don't think even Trump supporters think the Canadian trade relationship is a problem.
And Harper made an additional point about, if you have a dispute over the terms of renegotiation or the progress of renegotiation in NAFTA, well, that's understandable, as he sort of said there. But let's localize our disputes because, of course, there's a general alliance here, an overarching alliance that we want to protect.
This is a vitally important relationship that we have between Canada and the United States. And, look, when I was in office with President Bush, with President Obama, from time to time we had disagreements on issues. With President Obama, we disagreed on the Keystone Pipeline. Ultimately, President Trump made a great decision on that. But, the important thing is...
You stood tall on that. You were strong on that. You got a lot of pushback from the Obama team. I remember that.
Well, look, and that's fair enough. But what we did do, what Canadian presidents and prime ministers, American presidents have done in the past, is that when we've had those disagreements, we keep those disagreements isolated to the issues we're disagreeing with, because on other things, international issues of security, of frankly economic relationships and trade, of democracy and values, we're on the same page. We're the closest partners in the world, and you don't want to see a dispute over one particular issue poison everything.
Yeah, I think Stephen Harper's a pretty reasonable guy. Ed in Oakbrook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I would, I got relatives in Canada, but anyway, I would consider them more of a friend rather than a really strong ally. Since we provide most of their protection as far as the military goes, their military budget is really nothing compared to ours.
Well,
so you know what? Maybe they should cooperate. I mean, what's your point, Dean?
Well, I said whose is. I mean, that's true, but I mean, whose military budget other than China really is?
Yeah, right. They could offer all these liberal programs and be really nice and all of that good stuff, or we're over here making sure that they don't get their butts kicked by any foreign entity. Anyway, have a nice day.
All right, thanks for the call, Ed. Just remember one thing. They gave us Alan Thicke.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, should Justify be invited to the White House? Huh? Wouldn't that be fun? Who's going to pick up after it? But first, here's your forecast. Today, it's going to be rather cloudy. We're waking up yet again to some rain that fell overnight. A high of 73 degrees tonight, mostly cloudy. And tomorrow, warm with more clouds than sun, but at least no rain in forecast for now. A high of 82 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center and say good Monday morning to Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Yeah, the roads are wet. There's a little rain here and there, and there's fog. Visibilities are reduced, so be extra alert and awake. Right now, we don't have any crashes, but we do have some mild delays now on the inbound Stevenson. First, 355 to Lamont Road, then Pulaski to Kedzie. 37 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Inbound ride just a bit tight, Roosevelt to the Burn Circle. Bishop Ford, about a 3-minute delay. Stony Island feeder to the Rhine. There's still some road work on the northbound tri-state around Bradley. That's scheduled till 6. No delays, though, in that area. Tonight, the inbound Kennedy exit to Monroe is scheduled to close. Part of the ongoing work in that area. Metro has a new schedule today on the BNSF line. Metrorail.com has the details. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours right into your basement. This is Gus from Chicagoland Waterproofing. My mission is to identify why your home is taking on water and fix it. I want you to sleep at night during a rainstorm and not worry about your basement filling up with water. Like our client Kim from Mount Prospect.
We had chronic basement flooding and no one could figure out why. During a huge storm, water was pouring in through the window wells of our finished basement and we had to bail out 6 inches of water. We got a bunch of estimates, but Gus's was the most reasonable, plus he knew exactly what the problem was. He put in a full basement drain tile system and an additional sub pump with a backup battery. Chicagoland Waterproofing gave us peace of mind. I like to say, in Gus we trust.
From simple sump pumps to complex storm drainage and crack foundation solutions, Chicagoland Waterproofing's work comes with a lifetime warranty. Plus, a fully licensed plumber is always on staff. Request your estimate today at ChicagolandWaterproofingPros.com or call 847-296-3500.
Wow, what a difference. I feel like I live in a brand new home, and it's all thanks to CertaPro Painters. Hi, Amy Jacobson here, and while we are on our trip, I gave CertaPro Painters a key to my house. They came in, painted the living room, master bedroom, and it is impressive. Nothing like a fresh coat of paint to change the vibe of your house. CertaPro Painters are trustworthy. Obviously, I gave them a key to my house. They're professional, talented, and they clean up their mess. It's as if they were never there. And now that summer is coming, you're going to want to hire CertaPro Painters too. You know, family and friends will be over for outdoor entertainment, and you want your house to look its best. Get your porch painted or stained. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painter's business is independently owned and operated. Once again, get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Smokers, are you one of the millions of people who want to quit smoking because of health problems, expenses, or maybe you're just tired of the smell of smoke on your clothes and breath? Transform your life now with new Sig-Free Smartband. Sig-Free is an automated wearable smartband for smokers who want an all-natural, healthy, and affordable non-nicotine, non-invasive solution to quitting. Sig-Free is a technology-driven solution, freeing you from the dangers of smoking without doctor's exams or the side effects of drugs and nicotine replacement products. Just wear Sig-Free, answer your phone, and listen to your self-help messages. Your friends and family will love you for it, and they'll smell the difference. Become Sig-Free, and you can tell everyone, I morphed from a smoker to a healthier non-smoker.
For more information, go to imorphed.com. That's imorphed.com. imorphed.com. imorphed.com.
How many times a day can you fuel up and go with better-for-you options at CVS Pharmacy? Let's find out. It's 8 a.m. and you're leaving the gym. You head to CVS to refuel and boom, 99-cent vitamin water. That afternoon, the slump hits. Vending machine? Nope, CVS, where boom. Belvita bars, 2 for $6. Finally, it's 5 p.m., so you hit CVS before the commute and boom. Pure Leaf Tea, 2 for $3. Stop by CVS Pharmacy and fuel up and go on smarter snacking and beverage options. Restrictions apply. See cvs.com/weekly ad for details.
You are a hero. You may not fight killer robots, but a crabby toddler can be a formidable foe. Luckily, you're armed with a Chrysler Pacifica. Its best-in-class Uconnect theater can defeat any temper tantrum. And when cargo space is in danger, Pacifica's trusty class-exclusive Stow and Go always comes to the rescue. Get a great deal at the Chrysler Incredible Sales Event.
Available feature based on the FCA US LLC Premium Minivan segment. Chrysler and Uconnect are registered trademarks of FCA US LLC.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, this news broke, the release of this letter from Charles Krauthammer after our show on Friday. So,
didn't you cry?
I just wanted to take note of it. I'm sure everybody's seen it, but
and if you haven't read it, we urge you to read it.
He revealed that, and this was just a couple of weeks ago, that we had Brett Baer on the show, and he was saying that things were looking up for Krauthammer, and they were, hoping that he'd be back contributing in the not too distant future. But unfortunately, things took a turn for the worse, and Krauthammer wrote in his note, "I've been uncharacteristically silent these past 10 months. I had thought the silence would soon be coming to an end, but I'm afraid I must tell you now that fate has decided on a different course for me."
Yeah, he said in August of last year, he underwent surgery to remove a cancerous tumor in his abdomen, but the operation was thought to have been a success, but it caused a cascade of secondary complications. What she said, he's been fighting in the hospital ever since.
This is the final verdict. My fight is over. Ugh. Although Krauthammer wrote something that we all wish, I think, we could write at the end. I leave this life with no regrets. It was a wonderful life, full and complete with great loves and great endeavors that make it worth living. I'm sad to leave, but I leave with the knowledge that I live the life that I intended.
And he thanked his colleagues, his readers, his viewers who have made, as he said, my career possible and given consequence to my life's work. I believe that the pursuit of truth and right ideas through honest debate and rigorous argument is a noble undertaking. I am grateful to have played a small role in the conversation that have helped guide this extraordinary nation's destiny.
Yeah, obviously, Krauthammer, an intellectual giant. Anybody that had exposure to his commentaries, whether in the written or televised form, and a remarkable life, a Pulitzer Prize winner. I mean, a life that could have easily been cut short at 22 when a diving accident turned him into a paraplegic. But then, of course, he famously finished his medical degree from Harvard.
In the hospital.
In the hospital. His professors would come in.
Yeah, and they do use an overhead projector, and so
Right.
he could lay down and read and see. They pointed out, remember he was on our show with us, and he talked about that, how he didn't give up. And I just think that we're going to be referring to his wisdom and guidance from his writings in the future. I mean, he never will go away. I know that he's transitioning, he's leaving this earth, but he's such a remarkably smart man that even the left was praising him on Friday when this note was released on the Washington Post opinion page.
And consistent with his the work throughout his career, a dignified, well thought out, succinct note to say goodbye. And, you can take some solace in the fact that he had the chance to do that. And you can remember him fondly, not only through his work, but how he handled himself at the end, from the beginning to the end, I suppose.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 5:38, TSA does a wonderful impersonation of an airplane exclamation point spoof.
And later, a Chicago alderman has a legal breakup with President Trump. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
President Trump, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in Singapore for their historic summit. The actual summit between the president and the North Korean leader does not take place until Tuesday. But Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says you can already feel history being made.
The fact that our two leaders are sitting down face to face is a sign of the enormous potential to accomplish something that will immensely benefit both of our peoples and the entire world.
Senator Dianne Feinstein warning that any agreement the U.S. tries to reach with North Korea regarding nuclear programs, she believes will need to be tougher than the deal the Obama administration had to make with Iran.
North Korea stands out there as an isolated nation, becoming a nuclear power, selling weapon materials, and developing a weapon that could hit us.
Federal net neutrality rules end later today. The Obama-era regulations prevented internet service providers from slowing or blocking content or charging more for faster delivery of certain content. But according to experts, that never happened. Many companies already are pledging not to discriminate anyway. Chicago police say at least 11 were shot, including 3 who died in a 3-hour span on the city's south and west sides. 3 are recovering after a porch collapsed on Chicago's north side. It happened last night during a party at an apartment block in the 5700 block of North Ashland. About 20 were on the porch at that time. An investigation is underway after 3 family members were found dead at a home in Darien. Police say their bodies were discovered early yesterday inside of an apartment near 75th and Farmingdale. Their identities or cause of death have not yet been released. Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey is apologizing for eating at Chick-fil-A. Dorsey tweeted about his visit to the chicken chain Sunday, pleased with a 10% discount he got for using the mobile app and was happy with his meal from Saturday. The backlash was immediate from people who reminded him that the chain's CEO is opposed to gay marriage. Critics on Twitter felt it was in extremely poor taste. During Pride Month, Dorsey apologized, says he completely forgot about the company's background. Pirates reel off 5 runs in the 6th inning as they knock off the Cubs 7-1 at Wrigley Field. White Sox 5-2 winners over the Red Sox at Fenway. The news service of LifeLock. No one wants to wake up to the news that they're the victim of identity theft or that malware is attacking their smartphone. That's why new LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Join at lifelock.com. Use promo code RISK to save an additional 10% off your first year. 5:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher says this is why you elected Donald Trump.
The president is correct in calling off the Eagles' White House visit, telling ungrateful, overpaid athletes that if you can't take a few minutes and not aggressively disrespect the national anthem, and you don't want to go to the White House, then your team, including its owner and coaches, are certainly not welcome either. This is why you elected Donald Trump.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Pursue your passion with a degree from Aurora University Online. Choose fully online programs in business, computer science, and more. To learn more, visit online.aurora.edu.
There's always that time of day when the sun creates havoc at the office.
This is ridiculous.
You're literally blinded by the light. Can't see a thing on your computer monitor and feel like you're baking in an oven. Make your office or storefront distraction-free with custom shades from 1-800-4BLINDS. You'll keep your customers comfortable, protect furnishings and decor from fading, and have happy, productive employees that don't have to stop in the middle of a project because of the glare. 1-800-4BLINDS can get the job done quickly with their local in-house installation crew. You'll save money on window treatments that not only look great, but will also help you shrink utility bills with special heat-reducing shades that can trap heat between the window and shade. They also offer custom painted solar shades with your logo or photo image printed directly on the shade. Get the sun out of your eyes. Call 1-800-4BLINDS direct for a consultation today. 773-447-5448 or visit 1-800-4BLINDSchicago.com. That's 1-800-4BLINDSchicago.com.
5:35. Let's get an update on the roads this early morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens Expressway is wet, but otherwise looking okay right now. Kennedy outbound, traffic slow Foster to Sayre. And then on westbound 190, it's slow from the Kennedy to the Tri-State, looking at about 25 minutes to get from downtown to O'Hare right now. On Eisenhower, tight Manheim to Des Plaines Avenue. 31 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 5 to 29. Stevenson. Now 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound go to 34. Ryan has a 5-minute delay from Stevenson to the Circle. Bishop Ford heavy, starting around the Steel Bridge with that fog factor. 28 minutes, 8094 to the Verge. Traffic, service of Discover Student Loans. Figuring out how to cover college costs? Discover Student Loans is one of the top private student loan lenders in the country with great rates, 0 fees, while students can earn a cash reward for their good grades. Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Cloudy, 73 today. Currently 62. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. Kim Jong-un is a bad dude. Trust but verify. We'll talk about it when freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Amy, you traveled this weekend. How was your experience with TSA?
Lovely. I have to tell you, you know what it is? It's funky. TSA members, because I have a service dog that I need to travel with all the time.
Yes.
And
you're the reason I've called for a ban on pets traveling.
Well, some woman from our company did call American Airlines to rat me out.
What?
No, yeah. Oh, I found out. Oh, yeah, last year they had called me. American Airlines said, yeah, someone from your company that you work with called and said that you don't really need a service dog.
Did her voice sound like this?
I don't know, Dan. Keep talking.
Right.
So I had to get to the bottom of it. Well, I'm not getting to the bottom of that. I really don't care. But I have the paperwork from my cardiologist. I'm set. I'm good. But
Did they try and rouse Bunky and have him admit that you really don't need him?
Actually, they almost did a cavity search on her yesterday at Jacksonville Airport. I'm like, hey, watch your hands there. You're getting a little too close to the privates.
Is that where that Michigan State professor wound up?
Stop it. So I go through first, and I tell her to sit. And then I go through, and she's very good, and then she listens, and then she comes through. And sometimes the collar, alarms the system, and sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on the airport. And then she sits there very nice while they pat her down with the rubber gloves. But yesterday she was getting kind of too close to the things, you know, when I'm talking about the undercarriage area.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, I don't think she has anything in there. Code for get off my dog.
Yeah, right. Well, it seems like your dog was still treated better than 96-year-old Evelyn LeBrier.
Mm-hmm.
Miss LeBrier, 96 years old, is in a wheelchair. She was at Dulles, and with her daughter, who's her caretaker. The three of us were all in wheelchairs, says her daughter, Jeanne LeBrier Clarkson.
Oh, her daughter was in a wheelchair, too?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, okay.
But only my 96-year-old mother was subjected to this prolonged repetitive search, which was filmed by Miss Clarkson because when she asked, why are you pulling my mom aside and groping her, she didn't get a response, so she just filmed the 6-minute pat down on her phone. I mean, this is literally
6 minutes.
This literally is like, you remember the Airplane movie spoof where all the terrorists walk through the metal detector with like rocket launchers and armaments,
grenades and
and then the little old lady sets off the metal detector and they roust her, throw her up against the wall and so forth. That's sort of what this was.
I'm watching this video right now.
So she's and so was her daughter, and her daughter had this among other commentary at what she was witnessing.
What in the hell do you think she's going to do? Set off a shoe bomb?
No, probably not. They asked the 96-year-old to remove her windbreaker before giving her a full pat down from her hair to her sneakers. They asked her to redistribute her weight at one point so that an officer could inspect underneath her.
Ooh,
in the
the
chair.
undercarriage area.
Yes. They treated her about the same as Bunky, apparently.
Yeah.
Bunky, but more mobile. So this has sparked a lot of controversy, but based on the way that she was handled and just the nature of the kind of, this is just our policy, it's random, we're just doing our job, that kind of catch-all defense for terrible judgment calls.
Do you think we should be respecting our elders more? I mean, I'm watching it right now, and
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. The debate is they were just doing their job versus poor judgment call. So which is it when it comes to TSA? By the way, TSA, my experience, not exactly a entity that inspires a lot of confidence as the front line of defense at the airport.
they do have very interesting tattoos and nose rings lately. Have you seen?
perhaps one of
Wow.
In addition to Medicare Part D, one of George W. Bush's worst calls was to federalize and effectively unionize TSA. But for example, the other side of the argument is, no offense to anyone, but people use the elderly to smuggle stuff, and just because you say you're in a wheelchair doesn't make you not unable to smuggle stuff that is illegal. Sure, you have an incapacitated elderly person, and you use that as a front. We know terrorists, use other people as human shields, as misdirection targets, and so forth.
Some of the biggest drug runners when I lived in El Paso was this elderly couple. He had retired from Fort Bliss, and he and his wife would go back and forth every day, and they became friends with the guards on both sides.
Yeah.
And said that they were going to go to the pharmacia, because it's cheaper and you don't need a prescription. What they were doing was they were sticking marijuana and cocaine in the floorboards of their van. They got away with it for years.
So in TSA, that's one thing, border crossing and the random inspection of vehicles.
Right, but
it's another thing, the random inspection of persons. Where exactly is grandma hiding the 4 kilos of coke? You know what I mean?
No, I see. There is a difference.
Yeah. And so, and the other thing.
It looks uncomfortable watching it, but if she was randomly selected, then that's the chosen one who has to get pulled over and searched.
Well, the point is, no, it isn't. It doesn't have to be that way. That's the way that it is, and this is we're following policy.
We're getting a little close there.
Yeah, we're following policy. You can make a judgment call and say, you know what, the 96-year-old wheelchair-bound woman, if she makes it through the first line of screening, probably okay. Probably we shouldn't waste our time here. We should, think about men, 18 to 45. That's sort of kind of the wheelhouse of people that are that in terms of just age demographics that tend to commit most crimes. Why don't we just zero in there, especially because, as we know from stories we reported last couple of years, when they've done the kind of secret shopper tests on TSA, what's happened? Like a 97% fail rate for weapons.
Oh, that's right. Weapons, knives, all of that.
So, you can kind of argue the theoretical here with this grandma, but it seems to me this is just like the same kind of thing we go back to all the time. We have these policies and procedures that govern organizations to try and take human judgment out of security, safety, interaction generally. And you know what? I want human judgment there. I want people who have common sense to be in positions where their common sense can be applied, and it's important that it is.
Mm-hmm. TSA responded.
And what they say?
Well, they said we're committed to ensuring the security of travelers.
Blah, blah.
Treating all passengers with dignity. In this instance, the TSA officer provided advisements during the pat-down and was extremely polite. The passenger was very cooperative and gave no indication that she was agitated or in pain.
Yeah, that's because
she received a pat-down and was cleared for her flight.
The TSA agent kept saying, "Does this feel good? Does this feel good? How about here?
Is this your tickle spot? Oh,
yeah. No, it was a very pleasurable experience.
Has that ever happened to you at TSA, or do they take one look at you and like, "Don't touch that guy. Don't skip him.
It's a powder keg.
Yeah, don't do it.
No,
Larry, don't approach him."
The only thing I get is, and I do it all the time, so I go through and...
Oh, with your Dr. T starter kit there?
Mr. T. Dr. T? I'm not familiar with his work. Mr. T starter kit. So I'll just pull this out so they can pat down, underneath it.
What do you got there now,
chest.
4 or 5?
I'm working it up.
But that sounds the alarm? Those?
Well, it just... Yeah, it doesn't sound the alarm. I don't have people running at me, but it just, you obviously have something here.
Yeah.
Right. And so I just show them that and they say, I'm going to pat you down. And that's fine. I've personally never had a bad experience with TSA, but we report on enough of these stories.
Oh, yeah.
To say, it's just the lack of judgment calls.
I know.
You just go back to it all the time. You can show me your policies and procedures. Just make sensible judgment calls. Focus your limited resources and mind share where it could potentially be most effective, not just to check a box to say, this is our policies and procedures, randomly selected. I did my job.
Well, TSA once separated me from Peyton and Eli because they were 6 and 5 at the time, and we were in Savannah, and they didn't want to leave. So they were crying as we were going through security.
They weren't
and
the
the
only
TSA
two
agent
crying.
said, why what's wrong with you boys? And they're like, we don't want to leave with her. We want to stay, and this isn't right. So then they separated us because they thought I was kidnapping them and taking them away. So the next day I got a passport. I filed papers for the TSA agent. Said I had explained to them, no, we're on vacation and they don't want to leave. But I didn't take them in. They're their last name's Anglada, yours is Jacobson. Whose kids are these? They're my children.
And then and what did they say? Did they say no, we're not? Did they say we've never seen this lady before?
Oh yeah, Peyton did. We didn't talk for a long time. He's manipulative, that older one. He was. He's like, I don't know her. It was bad.
That's awesome.
It was really bad.
That's smart. It's a genius kid.
I mean, he was smart because he wanted to stay. He's like, I don't know. I want to go back to the castle because we were staying at our friend's house. And
did he try and make a break for it? Like when they were distracted with you, did he run?
He didn't run, but we couldn't. I mean, then he had 3. Then they called a female TSA agent. It was bad. It took us almost a half hour to get through there.
Really?
It was. I mean,
how did you prove that you are?
I had to call
their
their dad, call their father, and Mr. Anglada, and then he said, "No, these are my kids, and that's their mom." So, and then that next day, I said, I want to avoid if this happens again. They said, get them passports. So at the age of 6 and 5, they had passports.
So then what's the next ruse they came up with to try and separate themselves from you?
There wasn't one.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Another thing Peyton did, he said, she took me from my bed early this morning when I was sleeping. Like that I grabbed her. So it looked like a kidnap situation.
I tell you, keep an eye on that kid. Criminal genius.
I know. He's smart. Weather today, gosh, can you believe we had some little light rain overnight? Today we're hoping for just cloudy skies, a high of 73 degrees. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 62. And for tomorrow, no rain in the forecast as of yet, but we're going to have more clouds than sun. Warm, humid, a high of 82 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Amy and Dan, we crash right on Ontario at Orleans, right where the Ontario feeder ramp starts up going out of the Kennedy. And on the outbound Kennedy itself, got delays between Foster and the Tri-State Tollway, or actually really between the airport, with the traffic building going to O'Hare this morning. About 27 minutes from downtown to O'Hare, and about 22 minutes from the airport to downtown. The Eisenhower, 31 minutes, 390 to Circle Stevenson. Heavy early, 54 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. Foundation Ford, 28 minutes, 8094 to the merge. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
A lot of rain this past weekend, which means a lot of people had water in their basement, and you don't have to live like that. You don't walk around and say, well, maybe it'll leak some of the time. We're not sure, but have a dry basement all of the time, and you can if you call Permaseal. Go to Permaseal. They've been around since 1979, a Chicago-owned business. Their motto is to make America great, one basement or crawl space at a time. Here's what you do. Call 800-421-SEAL. They offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value in the industry. You know, don't walk around saying my basement leaks some of the time. Make sure it leaks none of the time if you call Permaseal. Again, Permaseal.net, Permaseal.net, or call 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325.
Okay, from the start.
The acerola cherry.
Alfalfa leaf, aloe vera, apples, asparagus, banana.
Beets, bell pepper, broccoli. Blueberries, blackberries, cranberry.
I make my Texas superfood from 55 raw, vine-ripened fruits and vegetables.
Mangosteen.
Pineapple, sweet potato.
Papaya, parsley, peach.
You can see all 55 on TexasSuperfood.com.
Raspberry, spinach, all of the nutrients that we need on a daily basis.
You know, it's been barely a week, and already my skin is better.
I lost 60 pounds. I mean, that's huge.
Since I've been on superfood, I haven't been sick.
I'm Dennis Black here in Dallas, Texas. Wouldn't you rather be healthy, energetic, and fit?
It's borderline shocking how much energy I have.
Join us on TexasSuperfood.com.
TexasSuperfood.com.
Or call 877-55-TEXAS. That's 877-55-TEXAS. 877-55-TEXAS. Or
TexasSuperfood.com.
superfood.com.
This is Dan Props with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Everything big city Dem mayors like Rahm Emanuel do is for the kids, they tell us with ersatz earnestness. Rahm, Tiny Dancer I call him, is quick to take up cause celebs like the Parkland High School Gun Control Brigade in the name of school safety. What Rahm and his leftist colleagues won't do is change school systems run by the adults for the adults, even when some of those adults are child predators. In a blockbuster expose, the Chicago Tribune documented a long-running sex abuse scandal inside the Chicago public schools that should end Tiny Dancer's career, should be international news on par with the coverage given the Catholic Church's scandal, and that should serve as a warning to public school parents across the country. According to the Tribune, since Tiny Dancer was elected in 2011, 430 reports of sexual abuse have been investigated, with credible evidence of misconduct found in 230 of those incidents. Worse yet, the story identified repeated failures to screen out Chicago public schools employees with prior arrests related to alleged sexual offenses involving children. A lot of attention is devoted to holding Pauls and their appointees accountable for threats to kids in school that come from the outside. What about the threats they welcome inside and cover for?
Hey, honey, did you hear all the buzz about those smart pills for your brain that are being used to enhance focus, memory, and creativity? It would be so amazing to have that kind of mental advantage at work. I'd love to find out which smart pill is the best and where we can get it.
Yeah, the world is so competitive. We could all use an advantage. Hey, why don't we just ask Siri? Siri knows everything. Siri will know. Okay, hey Siri, what is the best smart pill on the market today?
Searching the web. Here's what I found for the best smart pill on the market. Limitless is customer rated at the top. Take Limitless and within 30 minutes, you will experience a big boost in memory, concentration, and creativity. You don't need a prescription, and the results are guaranteed. Call Limitless now for a special free bottle offer.
To find out how to get your free bottle of Limitless, call 800-605-1653. That's 800-605-1653. Get your free bottle for a limited time. Call now, 800-605-1653, 800-605-1653.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly. I was reading an article the other day that the average American homeowner has over $16,000 in high interest rate credit card debt. Every morning you wake up and you work so hard to get ahead, but by the end of the month, you're just barely getting by. Then when things pop up like new tires, medical bills, school supplies, a laptop, it ends up on the credit cards. Well, the good news is if you're a homeowner, there's never been a better time to do a cash out refinance. Your home is going up in value quicker than it has over the last 10 years. And mortgage rates are still near these all-time low levels. Cash out loans are some of our favorites. Honestly, they really are, because those are the ones that make the greatest impact in a person's financial situation. Those are the loans where we're saving people $500, $1,000, even $2,000 a month. If you do have some credit cards, write them down. Get an idea of how high the balances are, how high the interest rates are, and then apply for a cash-out refinance today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert, LLC, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee.
The warmth of sun is here for you to enjoy the great outdoors. Feel like an instant getaway with a beach vibe and fun for the entire family? There's a place nearby you're going to want to check out. Bridges Waterside Grill and Bridge Inn in Michigan City, Indiana. Bridge Inn is the perfect place for your Lake Michigan escape. Amazing attractions like the Uptown Arts District, boutique shopping, beaches, the zoo, casino, and museums are all in walking distance. Bridge Inn offers year-round lodging, but you can take in the sunshine at the Bridges Waterside Grill through September. Grab a cocktail and dine on fish tacos, burgers, and wraps with lots of vegetarian and seafood options. Book one of 14 suites at Bridge Inn before summer sells out. Bridges is located near the rotating train bridge on the Trail Creek waterfront in the heart of Michigan City. Don't visit Michigan City without stopping by the Bridge Inn and Bridges Waterside Grill. For more info and availability, visit bridgeinnmc.com. That's bridgeinnmc.com.
Are you happy with what's looking back at you in the mirror? I'm Dr. Howard Cooper from Excellence in Dentistry, and we'd like to help you with that smile. Whether you're looking to fix one or two teeth or a whole smile makeover, we can take care of all your dental needs. We have a beautiful modern facility and a great staff. And most importantly, we love what we do. That's what sets us apart from other offices. Let's face it, a dental office is not everyone's favorite place. Whether you're 2 or 102, we make it fun and enjoyable. We perform all types of dentistry as well. Fillings, root canals, crowns, extractions, dentures, implants. We do most everything right in our office. And for you denture wearers, we have a full in-house denture lab and can perform repairs and relines while you wait. We can also talk about adding implants so your denture will snap into place or become screw retained. This is the closest option to natural teeth. We are conveniently located in Gurnee at the corner of Washington and 21 in Saratoga Square. So make today the day you give us a call. 847-244-4000. That's 847-244-4000. Or visit us on the web at gurneedds.com. We look forward to seeing you, and remember, second opinions are always free. Excellence in dentistry, creating excellence one smile at a time.
This is Dan Props with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Everything big city Dem mayors like Rahm Emanuel do is for the kids, they tell us with ersatz earnestness. Rahm, Tiny Dancer, I call him, is quick to take up cause celebs like the Parkland High School Gun Control Brigade in the name of school safety. What Rahm and his leftist colleagues won't do is change school systems run by the adults for the adults, even when some of those adults are child predators. In a blockbuster expose, the Chicago Tribune documented a long-running sex abuse scandal inside the Chicago public schools that should end Tiny Dancer's career, should be international news on par with the coverage given the Catholic Church's scandal, and that should serve as a warning to public school parents across the country. According to the Tribune, since Tiny Dancer was elected in 2011, 430 reports of sexual abuse have been investigated, with credible evidence of misconduct found in 230 of those incidents. Worse yet, the story identified repeated failures to screen out Chicago public schools employees with prior arrests related to alleged sexual offenses involving children. A lot of attention is devoted to holding Pauls and their appointees accountable for threats to kids in school that come from the outside. What about the threats they welcome inside and cover for?
5:57, a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike Kennedy. Inbound heavy 190 to Canfield, 22 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30 with additional delays on westbound 190. On Eisenhower, delays start at Wolf Road. It's 37 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound now 33. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 28 minutes, 95th to downtown, traffic service of LifeLock. No one wants to wake up to the news that they're the victim of identity theft or that malware is attacking their smartphone. That's why new LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Go in at LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save an additional 10% off your first year. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A rather cloudy day with spotty morning drizzle, high 73, mostly cloudy night, low 62. More clouds than sun tomorrow, high 82, and a partly cloudy night, low 63. Then Wednesday will be sunny, high of 80. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 63, the news service of Rogers & Hollins Jewelers. Did you know that Rogers & Hollins is Chicago's oldest and largest family-owned jewelry company? With an amazing selection of engagement rings and wedding bands, unique thank you gifts for your bridal party, and perfect gifts to give each other. It's no wonder couples have been trusting Rogers & Hollins for over 100 years. 5:59. Here are the stories we're following on AM 560, The Answer. 11 were shot, 3 killed in a 3-hour span on the city's south and west sides. 3 are recovering after a porch collapsed on Chicago's north side on Ashland Avenue. An investigation is underway after 3 family members were found dead in a home in southwest suburban Darien. 5 men and 2 women are wounded following an apparent gang-related shooting at a child's birthday party in Aurora. Pirates reel off 7 runs in the 6th inning. They knock off the Cubs 7-1 at Wrigley Field. White Sox put the game away late with a 5-2 victory over the Red Sox at Fenway. Cloudy, high 73 today. WIND, Chicago News Time 6.
President Trump is getting ready to meet with North Korea's leader. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
All the preparations for the summit have come together very nicely.
Secretary of State Pompeo optimistic ahead of the historic meeting tomorrow, tonight our time. Fox's John Decker is live in Singapore.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo told reporters the key to any deal President Trump may make with Kim Jong-un is verification, ensuring that Kim follows through on his pledge to denuclearize his country.
Sanctions will remain until North Korea completely and verifiably eliminates its weapons of mass destruction programs.
Secretary Pompeo did not say how long President Trump's initial meeting with Kim Jong-un will be tomorrow, nor whether the two leaders will meet again. President Trump on Twitter has said that his meeting with Kim is a one-time opportunity that will not be wasted. Dave?
John, the president's also still fuming about the summit that went south over the weekend in Canada. Tweeting from Singapore, fair trade is now to be called fool trade if it is not reciprocal, calling Prime Minister Justin Trudeau very dishonest and weak. After he said after the summit, Canadians won't be pushed around, announcing retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. The president's top economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, told CNN,
"How many times has President Trump said, if you hit me, I'm going to hit you back? Trudeau made an error. He should take it back."
The president's top trade advisor suggested there's a special place in hell for Trudeau. The European Council's president tweeted in response, "There's a special place in heaven for the Canadian leader." More anger at the president at an awards show.
I'm going to say one thing, Trump.
That's actor Robert De Niro at the Tonys.
It's no longer down with Trump, it's Trump.
De Niro, you may recall, once said he wanted to punch the president in the face. As for the awards honoring Broadway on CBS, the band's Visit won the most Tonys, 10, including Best Musical. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child got Best Play. Fox News, fair and balanced.
On AM 560, The Answer. Your opinion counts. And we want to know how you feel about the news stories we're talking about each and every day. Make sure to vote in the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll at 560theanswer.com. Listen for today's poll question at 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. And hear the results each evening at 5:30. It's the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll on 560theanswer.com.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So Trump's exit presser from the G7 summit as he prepared to leave to head to Singapore for Tuesday's face-to-face with Kim Jong-un sounded like things had gone fairly well. Here's Trump outlining his sort of statement of principles on trade.
No tariffs, no barriers. That's the way it should be. We're like the piggy bank that everybody's robbing. It's going to stop. Or we'll stop trading with them.
I don't like that part about the stop trading, saber rattling, but the no tariffs, no barriers part was encouraging. And he was also pressed by a CNN reporter about the relationship between him and the G6 heads of state. There were some iconic pictures that came out of that summit, sure. Like him sitting down with his arms crossed and the leaders of the other G7 countries sort of surrounding him and seeming to accost him while he appeared sort of unflappable. And
he looked strong.
Yeah.
And you see John Bolton behind him, and they didn't look like they were budging. He didn't seem open to a conversation.
No, but he also characterized the relationship and the interactions as very good.
There was a sense that the America's closest allies were frustrated with you and angry with you, and that you were angry with them, and that you were leaving here early to go meet for more friendlier talks with Kim Jong-un in Singapore. And I'm wondering if you view it the same way, And do you view the U.S. alliance system shifting under your presidency away
Who are
from
you with, out of curiosity?
CNN?
I figured. Fake news, CNN. The worst. But, I could tell by the question. I have no idea you were CNN after the question. I was just curious as to who you're with. You were CNN. I would say that the level of relationship is a 10. We have a great relationship. Angela and Emmanuel and Justin, I would say the relationship is a 10. And I don't blame them. I blame, as I said, our past leaders for allowing this to happen. There was no reason this should happen.
Talking about the trade imbalances and that he wants to address.
Yeah, but then President Trump hopped on Air Force One, and Trudeau had a press conference where he wasn't so complimentary of their meeting.
I have made it very clear to the president that it is not something we relish doing, but it is something that we absolutely will do, because Canadians were polite, we're reasonable, but we also will not be pushed around.
Yeah, that's Trudeau suggesting tit for tat when it comes to tariffs. And, of course, then this over the weekend drew the response of Larry Kudlow, made the rounds, including with Jake Tapper on the aforesaid CNN. And he called Trudeau's post-Trump presser amateurish and backstabbing.
It's a betrayal, okay? Essentially double-crossing. Not just double-crossing President Trump, but the other members of the G7 who were working together and pulling together this communique. You know, you never get everything you want. There are compromises along the way. President Trump played that process in good faith. So I ask you, he gets up in the airplane and leaves, and then Trudeau starts blasting them in a domestic news conference. I'm sorry. It is a betrayal. That is a double cross.
The result of which was Trump directing his advisors at the G7 to not sign on to the communique that was emanating from that summit. So it really broke things apart. Kudlow saying, additionally, Trudeau was a little naive, a little simplistic in not understanding this G7 in the context of Tuesday's showdown with Kim Jong-un.
POTUS is not going to let a Canadian prime minister push him, POTUS, around President Trump on the eve of this. He is not going to permit any show of weakness on the trip to negotiate with North Korea, nor should he.
So this was about North Korea?
Of course it was, in large part.
So because
Absolutely.
Trudeau said that as Trump was going to Singapore.
Well, one thing leads to another.
Oh, I see. Okay.
They are all related. We had done our work in Quebec, north of Quebec. We did our work. We worked with the Western Alliance, pleased to do so. We get on the plane, and then this guy, Trudeau, starts blasting us.
So what's key here?
Kim must not see American weakness. It's that short.
For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by a friend of ours from north of the border, Strange Brew territory, Jerry Agar, talk show host for News Talk 1010 in Toronto, who used to be a talk show host in Chicago and other markets in the United States. He got out just before the roundup, so he's very lucky. Jerry, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, great to talk to you.
So what's kind of your reaction and you think the Canadians' reaction to the Trudeau-Trump dust-up from the weekend?
Well, I think, unfortunately, a lot of Canadians are taking a sort of a jingoistic reaction to this in that, good for Justin Trudeau to stand up to Trump. But I think the problem I see between these two individuals is that Trump seems to lead often with bluster and Trudeau leads with virtue signaling. And I don't know what happened in their meeting, but I could absolutely believe that Justin Trudeau would suck up to Trump in a meeting in a room and then come out and throw him under the bus afterward. I mean, that seems to fit the modus operandi of Justin Trudeau to me.
Wow. So we're haggling over $600 million in dairy trade. And according to, most economists here in the States, they say that we have a surplus when it comes to trading with our northern partners in Canada. What do you know?
Well, I mean, you're 10 times bigger, so you're likely to have a surplus on a lot of things. But Something I'm looking forward to seeing how my listeners later this morning react to my taking a look at how dairy products and agricultural products are handled between the two countries. Because certainly in the United States, the government has tax incentives and payment programs and things that bolster farmers and keep prices cheaper for everybody. We have a supply management system in Canada that means we fork over a whole bunch of money to farmers in a price fixing system called supply management, which makes prices more expensive for everybody, crucially for the poor on necessities like milk and eggs. Our system is upside down, and they're managing to still make it look good because, hey, it's popular to just hate Trump. Concentrate on Trump. Look at Trump. Look at Trump. Don't look at the fact that you're paying double for eggs.
Well, not only that, don't look at the fact that you buy your milk in bags. What I still what, can't you afford containers like we have in the States?
We have a reusable container.
Oh, see? They're environmentally responsible.
You got me there. So are we able, you obviously have connections to all the Canadian stars that we've imported. Maybe Ryan Reynolds could play like a Rodman-esque role, some shuttle diplomacy between the two countries?
Well, we might be a lot better off if we sent Ryan Reynolds than if we send Trudeau, because do you remember how much he accomplished when he went to India? All he did was play dress up. I mean, it's like and I have friends of Indian heritage here in Canada, and they were mortified. They said, he's dressing up in wedding attire.
And well,
I mean, this is what we have as a leader, and we're supposed to be looking badly at yours.
Well, I was taken by the contrast between what Trudeau said and did, and then Stephen Harper your former prime minister, was on over the weekend with Maria Bartiromo on Fox Business, and he talked about, look, there's going to be some disagreements. I had a disagreement with the Obama administration over the pipeline. I actually think that Trump, obviously, that was my position, Trump made the right call on the Keystone XL pipeline. But the key is, since we're allies and trading partners, and otherwise our relationship is mutually beneficial, is when there are disagreements like this to localize them, not blow up the whole relationship. And that seemed to be a reasonable position to take. Boy, Stephen Harper to Justin Trudeau, there are stark differences there.
Well, there are stark differences there, no doubt. But to be fair here, I think that Donald Trump made one mistake, and it really ticked off Canadians, and it gave fuel to Justin Trudeau, and that was that he said that the steel and aluminum tariffs needed to be in place because of national security. Don't tell Canadians they're a national security to the United States. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, well, that's a fair point.
You sound like you have a little disdain in your voice for Trudeau. What is it about him that bothers you?
The socialism?
Well, no.
Well, yes, but when he was running and he emerged victorious over Stephen Harper, who I thought was doing a very good job, but maybe sometimes leaders just pass their freshness date and they get elected out as opposed to the other party being elected in. I think there was a certain amount of that, but the slogan that the Conservatives were trying to push against Trudeau was he's just not ready. He's the famous son of a famous previous prime minister in this country, and other than being a part-time drama teacher before he got this job, we weren't too sure what his qualifications were. And some people were really upset by that, but I thought not only was it fair at the time, it's been proven true. I don't think he really has the intellectual heft to do the job.
Part-time drama teacher.
Well, exactly. Just one thing on the national security. I mean, the Trump sometimes doesn't connect dots for people. So it sort of gives one-off statements that can be interpreted a lot of different ways. Well, one of the national security arguments says it's possible the national security argument he was making didn't have to do with Canadians invading the United States or Canada posing a national security threat, but the idea of being independent of foreign steel and foreign energy, for that matter, as a national security issue more broadly than specifically Canada. But obviously it would have been better if he elucidated that.
Well, sure, and I understand that point, but that's also something that's going to take a little bit of time to solve, because one of my understandings here is that even with the tariff, the United States was going to have to buy the product because many of the industries, especially the ones you might be concerned about from a national security standpoint, are already kind of tooled up and using certain grades of steel and aluminum. I'm not an expert on this, but this is what I was reading, that we're already producing in Canada. In other words, they've set themselves up to use this particular product. And when you're talking about steel and aluminum, it's not like just by next Thursday somebody can say, hey, we're making some.
No, right. And I mean, look, the tariffs are a terrible policy, and Trump's wrong on this. So I concede the point. Although, of course, I guess similar to many in our country, in Canada, a lot of people just want to kind of be nationalistic to see their leaders seemingly fight for them rather than to do the analysis to say, wait, let me understand this. Trump is hurting American consumers, so our response should be to hurt our consumers. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, I think they're both hurting consumers on both sides of the border. I mean, these tariffs and these fights like this they may be fun for bureaucrats and political leaders to go around and posture with, but ultimately it just results in ordinary people on both sides of the border paying more money than they should for products. A competitive atmosphere is better for the little guy.
As a talk show host in Toronto at 1010, I don't know if it's AM, I don't know what bandwidth you're on.
You don't listen?
I don't. No, I'm
Come
sorry,
on.
but we used to, all the three of us all used to work together.
That's
Remember
right.
when we'd fill in
at the
WMS?
world's largest store?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. What do your listeners think of President Trump?
I think that like in the United States, I'm sure there's a polarization. I think that there are people who understand why he got elected and have the same sort of beliefs. In fact, I would say that the position that is analogous to governor in the United States is premier of the province. And just last Thursday, by a huge margin, the brother of the former infamous mayor of Toronto, Rob Ford, Doug Ford, was elected to be premier of this province. And the people on the left who hate him compare him directly with Trump, and the people who voted him in, again, by a large margin, decimating the Liberals down to 7 members, are saying, yeah, okay, fine. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, it's that Doug Ford election. That was really interesting. That is worth noting, sort of underreported here. Speaking of the Fords, what about in Toronto after Chris Farley's the Chris Farley impersonator's untimely demise? Where does Toronto stand now?
Well, there are still those people who hate him, but you know what I find most interesting about that, Dan, is that clearly Rob Ford was an addict. He had a problem, and it got so bad he was smoking crack. Now, it's not like America hasn't had a mayor that did that, but
that was different because the BI shut her up. That was different.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But his issues were personal. I recall some time ago I came on your show and I listed off his accomplishments where he privatized the collection of garbage and he got I'm not going to go through it all because you don't care, but I just remember you going, Dan, I like him.
Yeah, no, that's right.
We fell in love with him. There's something unique and genuinely real about him.
Well, I fell in love with him because he was moving in a market-oriented way in Toronto, which is not something you get to say a lot. That's why I'm actually interested, because, I mean, if market economics and conservative reform can come to Toronto, then maybe there's still hope for this little hamlet by the lake we live in.
Well, there might be, but, take a look at, again, you're talking now, downtown Toronto, let's be fair here, in this election I just told you about, voted for the most socialist party, the New Democratic Party, they're called. So downtown Toronto, the areas there voted, but across the province and in the suburbs of Toronto, and around the huge populous areas of Toronto, it went solidly conservative to the brother of the late Rob Ford, the mayor.
That's interesting.
Ford, huh?
So we had, of course, this long-running controversy whether Donald Trump's hair was real. Was that a rug or is that his real hair? I think we've established that it is his real hair.
Now we have eyebrow gate.
Yeah, you've got a bit of a controversy on your hand, or maybe it's not, and it's just come to the States. Justin Trudeau's eyebrows, real or fake?
Well, he was a former drama teacher. What else do you need to know?
Sure.
He knows how to do the makeup.
He plays dress up, of course. All right, Jerry,
I'm looking at this eyebrow thing. It's
like a little caterpillar there.
Yeah.
Jerry, I gotta get your okay to tell the story. Can I tell the story about the time we went fishing together in Canada? Well,
sure.
Fishing and
You
boating.
two went fishing?
Yeah, well, I was up there with a friend of mine.
In Toronto?
Yeah, well, not in Toronto, but in
Nearby.
Ontario.
Okay.
Yeah, out on a lake, and Jerry came over to visit with us on his motorcycle because he's a big bike rider, and we went out boating. And Jerry didn't have a swimsuit, so he just swam in his underwear. So I've seen Jerry Agar in his underwear. Is that his true story, Jerry?
And it was more manly than that Justin Trudeau eyebrow thing.
There's no question about it.
I wished I was invited. No, I'm glad I didn't go.
That's 100. Agar's 100% Canadian beef.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. Jerry Agar, talk show host in Toronto for News Talk 1010. Jerry, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good to talk to you. Have a good day.
Take care.
I hope you caught some fish. And Jerry Agar joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Remember when we filled in on a Friday, the three of us, and the Carnival wagon came?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, he's a lot of fun.
Oh, I'd never seen him drink in my life, and he's never drank on the air ever, so he's just
he's
a little standoffish, and he finished it,
Though, let me just say,
I'd like to hear
now
more.
that he's gone, you really don't want to see him in his tighty whities.
Was it tighty whities?
Yeah, especially when they're wet.
Oh, okay. So gross. Forecast for today, clouds. Mostly clouds, no sun. We had some morning rain, a high of 73 degrees. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 62. And for tomorrow, no rain in the forecast yet. We're going to have more clouds than sun, but it will be warmer, a high of 82 degrees. Let's change the subject and get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good call, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. Tri-State Tollway northbound. It's slow going from 95th up to the Hinsdale Oasis, and then from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower as well. Eastbound Reagan Tollway, heavy early, 83 to Roosevelt. Speeds are reduced. Wet conditions. Edens, 23 minutes. Lycouc to Montrose. Kennedy, 29 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound, 48. There's a crash at Irving Park just reported. The Eisenhower's 49 minutes. 390 to downtown. Outbound, 35. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. The Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 25 minutes, I-80 to the Merge Bishop Ford, 40 minutes. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Wildfires, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, a crashing economy. Are you ready? At best, your local stores have a 3-day supply of food. Will your family have to fight over what's left? Be wise and be ready with 25-year shelf life Wise Food Storage. Try it free. Order a no-obligation free sample meal, and for a limited time, get a 10% discount and free shipping on all orders. Call for your free sample now. 800-787-1010. 800-787-1010.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Sud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
When you purchase an alarm system, you do it for one reason above all others. You need to know something about the people or property under your care. Knowing that what matters most will be looked after by professionals when you can't be there is a comforting feeling. At Alarm Detection Systems, we've learned a great deal from our decades of service. We know how to treat customers on the phone. We know that installing quality security products using certified technicians is the only way to go. We know that same-day service and local monitoring will provide the safety and peace of mind you're looking for. You no longer have to wonder if your home or business is protected by your alarm system. Know that it is. At home or on the go, the information you seek is right in your hands. It's good to be in the know. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. That's 630-844-6300 or online at adsalarm.com. Alarm license number 127000143.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply. Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and this week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000 right now because this free ticket offer expires this Friday. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that use Balance of Nature as well.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560. The Answer.
Amy, you were out of town, but this weekend my club got hit. My golf club.
Olympia Fields, what happened?
Olympia Fields, 2 men set fire to thousands of dollars worth of furniture. One of them,
What?
25-year-old Lincoln Park resident Jacob Barassa.
What is he doing down in Olympia Fields?
Well, he's a member of the club.
Oh, is there alcohol involved?
He was a member of the club. He invited his friend, 26-year-old Kurt Altrichter.
Oh my God. What
They
did they do?
played golf. They had a bite to eat. Then they started drinking. And we have outdoor fire pits on the patio, and of course it's it's sort of cold this weekend, especially at night. So they started to throw the wicker patio furniture into the fire pit to burn it. They burned about $3,300 worth of furniture, and good for Olympia Fields that they had the 2 clowns arrested. So I hope their arson conviction follows them in their professional careers. I mean, what the hell? But this is the reason that I am going to introduce a No Lincoln Park Trixies membership resolution.
Did they
at the
drive
club.
down in Jettas? The Volkswagen Jetta?
Possibly.
Well, here's the thing. And then also maybe having an age requirement, because people in their 30s would not do that. And drunk 20-year-olds, they should know better.
Well, I
but
think
maybe it has something to do with age and responsibility. I mean, are they still on their parents' health insurance?
Well, that's true.
These are things we need to know.
That's true. It could still live in their parents' basement like Rotundo.
Yeah, right. Well, they couldn't stop them from.
Well, I mean,
all that furniture. They were cold, and they're like, let's put this in the pit.
Well, probably nobody else was outside because it was cold, and they could have just been outside. And this is, perhaps into the evening, and so there's not a lot of staff there.
Are they sending out SOS signals?
Well, they are now because they have their mugshots posted all over the media. They both had to post a $5 billion.
$5 billion?
$5 billion. That's what they should have had to post. $5,000
bond.
Yeah, $5,000 bond.
And then they have to pay restitution. They have to pay for the furniture they damaged, right? We hope.
I would hope. I would hope. Yeah.
So what happens when someone's membership gets yanked? Do you still have to pay for the rest of the summer? Or it's just over. We're done with you. Leave.
Let me tell you what happens, and I'm not going to go into details. You may
wait. Don't tell. Just whisper it to me.
Jacob Barassa may never be seen again.
What does he look like?
You don't desecrate Olympia Fields.
No, you don't desecrate anything. What an
Well,
idiot.
that's true.
Jacob Barassa. How do you spell his last name?
Bourassa. Remembering Jacob Barassa today all morning on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, well, one Chicago alderman is separating himself legally from President Trump.
And is it okay to hate men? Yes, says one Northeastern University professor at 636.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here with news from here at home and around the world, Mike Scott.
A dense fog advisory and still a few light rain showers hanging around the area. Chicago police say 11 were shot and 3 were killed in a 3-hour span on the city's south and west sides around 1 a.m. on Sunday. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is cautiously optimistic ahead of Tuesday's summit between President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
President Trump believes that Kim Jong-un has an unprecedented opportunity to change the trajectory of our relationship and bring peace and prosperity to his country. We are hopeful this summit will have set the conditions for future productive talks.
The president insisting on full denuclearization and has said that the U.S. will help the North get on its feet economically. Primaries will be held in several states tomorrow, voters casting their ballots in Virginia, Nevada, Maine, North Dakota, and South Carolina. Hundreds in southwest Colorado are evacuating their homes because of a wildfire burning out of control. The 416 fires burning near Durango has doubled in size over the weekend, with now 16,000 acres scorched. The Southwest could get some drought relief from a hurricane brewing in the Pacific off the coast of Mexico. It's Hurricane Bud, expected to get stronger over the next day or so before it makes landfall at the southern point of Baja California at the end of the week. Here in Chicago, 3 are recovering after a porch collapsed on the north side. It happened overnight during a party at an apartment complex in the 5700 block of North Ashland Avenue. An investigation continues after 3 family members were found dead inside of a home in Darien. No one is in custody after an elderly woman was found beaten to death on Chicago's far south side. The victim discovered yesterday near 100th and Forest. Her death is being investigated as a homicide. Illinois is one of 8 states on a list of states where tainted melon slices could be on store shelves. The CDC saying Cato Foods has recalled melons that were sliced at its Indianapolis facility. 60 in Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, and other states have gotten sick from eating those melons. The recalled melon was sent to Costco, Kroger, Owens, Trader Joe's, Walgreens, Walmart, and Whole Foods. Pirates reel off 5 runs in the 6th inning. They knock off the Cubs 7-1 at Wrigley Field. Daniel Palka's 2-run double in the top of the 9th sealed a 5-2 win by the White Sox over the Red Sox at Fenway. U.S. Open begins Thursday at Shinnecock Hills in New York. Your normal warm-up is the FedEx St. Jude, and Dustin Johnson was 19 under and grabs the win. The news, a service of Rogers and Hollins Jewelers. Did you know Rogers and Hollins is Chicagoland's oldest and largest family-owned jewelry company with an amazing selection of engagement rings and wedding bands, unique thank you gifts for your bridal party, and perfect gifts to give each other. It's no wonder couples have been trusting them for over 100 years. 6:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager says the left has ruined yet another event.
So the latest is the Miss America pageant. They are dropping the swimsuit competition and the evening gown competition. See, what a major factor of the left is fear of life, fear of reality.
These people are to the right of the religious right.
We don't want any thoughts of sin.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
You know your old windows are costing a pretty penny in energy costs, and they don't look that great either. But finding the right company for doors and windows is confusing. Options, choices, pushy salespeople. Seems everyone wants to sell and install doors and windows. But you want someone who specializes, not a jack of all trades. The specialty at Next Door and Window is doors and windows. It's right in their name. You want only the best in quality and looks. Next Door and Window delivers with the largest selection of wood-clad vinyl and fiberglass products and custom stains and paints for a look and match that no one else can offer. Right now, get 33% off installation when you schedule a free quote by June 30th. Next Door and Window has showrooms in Arlington Heights, Burr Ridge, and Naperville. Online at nextdoorandwindow.com. But you want to call now to schedule your free quote. Hurry and do it before June 30th. Call 630-590-1370. That's 630-590-1370.
Next Door and Window, thousands of options.
6:34. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's inbound. It's heavy Niles Center to Montrose. 30 minutes Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 19. The Kennedy. 39 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 19 from Montrose. 15 in the Express. Outbound with a crash at Addison in the two right lanes. It is 50 minutes to Montrose. An hour and 14 minutes downtown to O'Hare. That outbound delay starts around Ogden. On the Eisenhower inbound. Heavy Manheim to Harlem and Pulaski to the Circle. 50 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 35. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 45 minutes. Ryan, 36 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 25 minutes. I-80 to the Merge. Bishop, Ford, 42. Northbound Tri-State heavy, 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis. And from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Traffic is a service of Lowe's. If you're active or veteran U.S. military personnel, Lowe's would like to honor your service by offering you 10% savings every day on purchases you make in-store or online. For details, visit lowes.com/military. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Cloudy with a high near 73. We'll continue with the clouds overnight, low 62. A warmer day ahead tomorrow. More clouds than sun and a high of 82. Currently, we have 62 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Lou Bridges Show. Get foreclosure defense solutions that may save your home. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Can you hate your way to happiness? This Northeastern, this force of habit.
Slip of the tongue there,
Northeastern professor, the director of the Women's Gender and Sexuality Studies program at Northeastern University, has penned an op-ed in the Washington Post. Why can't we hate men? Here's what she has to say. So, men, if you really are #with us and would like us not to hate you for all the millennial of woe you have produced and benefited from, start with us. Start with this. Lean out so we can actually just stand up without being beaten down. Pledge to vote for only feminist women. Don't run for office. Don't be in charge of anything. Step away from the power. We got this. And please know that your crocodile tears won't be wiped away by us anymore.
Gosh,
we have every right
what?
to hate you.
Gosh.
You have done us wrong. #because patriarchy. It is long past time to play hard, pun intended, for team feminism and win. Susanna Walters, Northeastern University, can cross that off the list of possible universities for Peyton and Eli to attend now, Amy. The list keeps shrinking. Is it okay to hate men, to suggest that men not run for office, abdicate power over everything, including their own lives, and turn it over to Susanna Walters and her friends? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
Well, I can bet that woman's single. She's a little angry. No, I don't want to turn everything over. Why can't we coexist like we have been doing? And some women choose to take the mom role and stay at home and be a homemaker, and some women choose to conquer the world and be CEOs, and that's fine. But we don't have to tell the men to go away.
I love the generic way she refers to men, too, or a monolith. We are told he is with us, and #not him. Also, I love the fact that hashtags are just rife throughout her column. She's like this is like an extended tweet.
20-year-old?
This is supposed to be an academic that we're supposed to take seriously? Well, I guess not. Director of Women's Gender and Sexuality. Yeah, I guess not.
I took a women's studies class at Iowa. They weren't that angry. They didn't want men to go away and disappear and say, hey, we've got this.
We are told he is with us and #not him. But truly, if he were with us, wouldn't this have all ended a long time ago? What is this? If he really were with us, wouldn't he reckon that one good way to change structural violence and inequity would be to refuse the power that comes with it? So the way to show that you're down with the struggle of women against violence and inequity is to remove yourself from society if you're a male. And interestingly, there's no real race qualifier here. It's just men. Men. Yeah. It's my edge has been crossed for a long time, as she writes. It's not Eric Schneiderman that pushed me over the edge. My edge has been crossed for a long time, before Trump, before Weinstein, before mansplaining and incels, before live streaming sexual assaults and red pill men's groups and rape camps as a tool of war and the deadening banality of male prerogative. Should be fun at a cocktail party. Do you think she's on Tinder? George in Moni, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Amy. Do we still have to write the checks?
Good question. Miss Walters does not address... Oh, excuse me, Professor Walters.
Excuse you.
I think she earned it. Does not address that question, but it's a fair one. Yeah. Thanks for the call.
Rock on, man.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Maybe she feels that way because girls are getting, pushed to the back by these, allowing transgender men in sports.
Oh, I don't think she thinks that.
It just means decisions.
I don't think that's where her anger is focused. No, not at all.
But really, on an ancillary issue, did you see the Connecticut state track finals for girls?
Yeah,
two transgender guys won, and I'm watching them right now. And when they cross the finish line, all the girls, they're killing them with their eyes. Like, you just took something from me. So girls, go to the back for gay rights.
Well, yeah.
This is sports.
When it comes to this, though, too, the Washington Post hate men. Could you imagine them printing an op-ed from some misogynist about why it's okay to hate women, or targeting targeting any other group by any other characteristic, gender, race, sexuality, whatever? Can you imagine that? I suspect they wouldn't run some misogynistic screed along these lines. By the way, this is a related note. It's kind of fun. That bookstore that's parodied, and I mean barely parodied, because it's almost just a documentary that's parodied in Portlandia. Women and Women First, the Fred Armisen, Carrie Brownstein show. That sketch comedy show. It's pretty good. They're closing this week.
Oh, for good?
Well, they're closing the end of this month, I should say. And the reason they're closing, white people. The actual name of the bookstore, it's Women and Women First in Portlandia. The actual name is In Other Words. The business was originally launched by white people, and that's the problem. Despite the efforts to reform the business by ridding it of its whiteness, the feminists have failed. The volunteer-operated feminist bookstore issued this statement. The current volunteers and board members stepped in and took over space that was found on white cis feminism, read white supremacy. It's really difficult, actually impossible for us to disentangle that from foundational ideology. Whew. How about
I take a bath now?
Yeah, how about I don't know, let's get everybody together. Let's go out to dinner with Susanna Walters and the volunteer operators of In Other Words in Portland. Wouldn't that be a fun night out? Just to give you a little sense of Portlandia.
Oh, yes.
You heard their statement?
Yes.
This is the actual people in their statement. Now compare this to the Portlandia parody. See if you can distinguish the two.
The PSU bookstore sent me here. I'm actually just getting a bunch of books for class, for my women's studies class. Do you have a computer system where I can just look it up?
No, we're that computer. We're the CRM.
Okay, different daughters, vaginas and owner's manual.
Hold on, slow down. Different daughters. We carried. If we could order that for you, it'll take a year to get here. It has to be written. And who's your teacher?
Marilyn Kendall.
She's a little odd looking, isn't she?
I guess.
It's almost like they made her eyes weird.
They?
Here. Don't you think?
Who made her eyes weird?
Goddesses. What's the name of the first book?
Vaginas and owner's manual.
Hold on a second. Wait. I'm not looking for your book. This is something else. This is employees' rules.
Okay, well,
This class you're taking, you don't need it. We have classes here. Abby D's queer question. Why don't you take that?
I have pole dancing class that day.
Excuse me? You have
Pole
what
dancing?
Pole dancing?
Exercise?
We're about to freak out right now. We're about 2 seconds away from jumping up on this table and kicking everything in sight, which, by the way, is our own property.
So I guess I'll just go somewhere else.
No.
Mike on the north side.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. Excuse me. I don't mean to pile on Alderman Burke now that he's had his conscious uncoupling with Donald Trump's checkbook. I'm sure they'll have a reunion after the election. But if this is how the Democratic Party is moving, shouldn't Ed Burke and Mike Madigan and Rahm Emanuel all give up their power to the transgendered, atheistic, Muslim environmentalists? Just go the whole board. You got to. Well, no, transgender is more than female, right? So you got to find those people and put them in power. Otherwise, the Democrats won't be happy.
Thanks for the call, Mike. I mean, it could be the irony. Maybe we could use Miss Walters and her fellow travelers as a blunt instrument to our ends. Get rid of all the men in power in this state. That actually would probably be progress.
Yeah, that would be progress.
Not because they're men, but it would just
To
be
get 'em out.
Yeah, the means to an end. Dennis in Crystal Lake.
Hey, Dan, this is why sex work should be legalized. And that's why blow-up dolls are getting so popular. This broad has the IQ of a dry sponge.
Okay. All right, Dennis. What about setting up Dennis and Professor Walters on a blind date?
Oh, I think that would last for 5 hot seconds, possibly.
Yeah.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, more information about why Alderman Burke is separating himself from President Trump. But first, here's your forecast. Cloudy today. Hopefully no more rain. A high of 73 degrees. We don't see it in the radar, but we've had some pop-up storms lately. That was a wet weekend, huh? And then tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 62. Tomorrow, warmer, more clouds than sun, a high of 82 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Amy, the app on Kennedy is a mess after a crash at Addison. It's 52 minutes from downtown to Montrose. Now we're in 16 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Inbound 58 minutes from the airport, Burns Circle. Edens, 30 minutes, Lake Cook Junction. Outbound 20, Eisenhower. You get 50 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 45. Mount Stevenson, delay start at Weber. It's an hour and 2 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 45 minutes. Ryan, 36 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 25 minutes, I-80 to Merge Bishop, 442. It's always getting heavy. Northbound Tri-State, it's slow from Cicero to 47th, the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway lead to the Tri-State, Reagan Tollway 83 to the Tri-State, and the Veterans Memorial. Stop and go I-55 to the Reagan Tollway. I'm Jim Telemonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. The president set to face Kim Jong-un, and an Italian fashion empire will stay in family control. Philly police issuing new coffee shop arrest rules, and those stories are next.
How much do you spend on your pest control each year? $200, $300, or even $500 or more? What if I said you could spend less than $25 a year, even less with promo code SAVE20? Then listen up. G'day, I'm Scott from Plug-in Pest Free, and yes, it is possible to rid your home or business of unwanted pests for less than $25 per year. The answer is Plug-in Pest Free. Our best seller, the Plug-in Pest Free Pro, will cover up to 4,000 square feet. Now that's fair income. For just a one-time cost of only $249, even less with promo code SAVE20, you'll be pest-free for years to come. Log on to gopestfree.com today. Use promo code SAVE20 and start driving those pests away. Don't spray and regret. Plug in and forget. Gopestfree.com. That's gopestfree.com. Promo code SAVE20.
After flying back to D.C. from the weekend's G7 meetings in Quebec, President Trump ready for the main event this week, his historic summit with North Korea's Kim Jong-un, the two leaders meeting in Singapore to discuss the denuclearization of North Korea. Florence, Italy-based Prada will not be joining the ranks of other Italian fashion brands that are sold off to foreigners. Patrizio Bertelli, the 72-year-old CEO of Prada, says he has no intention of selling the brand. Bertelli's 30-year-old son Lorenzo is being groomed to succeed him. Philadelphia police have announced a new policy on confronting people accused of trespassing to prevent a repeat of the so-called Starbucks controversy in Philly earlier this year. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern, on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Nowadays, there's an app for everything, and here's one that's a must-have if you golf. It's the Bolingbrook Golf Club mobile app, and it'll enhance your golf experience. You can book tee times at Bolingbrook Golf Club. There's an interactive scorecard, golf games, a GPS, latest news from the club, even a food and beverage menu, Facebook sharing, and more. Just about everything you need for your golf game besides the clubs is in the palm of your hand with the new Bolingbrook Golf Club mobile app. Go to BolingbrookGolfClub.com/contact/download our app. BolingbrookGolfClub.com/contact/download our app and download today.
Have a young golf enthusiast? Keep them busy this summer with the 2018 Robito Golf Academy Junior Golf Program at Bolingbrook Golf Club. It's a great chance for youngsters to learn golf fundamentals and get warmed up for the golf season by the professional teaching staff at Bolingbrook Golf Club. There are special programs divided into age groups, and sessions are still available but going fast. Get more info at BolingbrookGolfClub.com and click on Driving Range, then Junior Golf.
Hey guys, Ken here from the Business Accelerator podcast, Today's Growth. If you had to choose a vehicle to take you up the rocky side of a mountain, would you choose a Ferrari or a Jeep? The Ferrari's faster, cooler, maybe even sexier, but if you have to get to the top, the Jeep's a better bet. I think we can agree getting to the top is not about the driver, it's the vehicle. Have you noticed people often pick their financial vehicle like they pick their cars? Washington Post shared that only 1 out of 4 people choose a job that uses their college degree. Why? Simple. Something more immediate, maybe cooler, maybe even sexier came along first. Shouldn't the main deciding factors for revenue generation be production or output? Should the cool factor have any weight in choosing someone's income? If getting to the top of the financial mountain is mission critical for you, why not add a few Jeeps to your garage? Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that makes it to the top every time? If so, you have to see the Jeeps lined up at IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Your daughter's wedding is one of the proudest moments of your life, a moment you and your family will treasure for the rest of your lives. As the months of planning start to unfold and you get closer to the special day, things can get a bit hectic. So many important details. To capture these once-in-a-lifetime memories and not have to worry about anything but the celebration, trust Artland Photography for every precious moment. At Artland Photography, it's all about you. No matter what your style, their photographers have the skill and experience to capture the moments quickly and stay out of the way. They'll make it easy to enjoy all of the smiles, laughter, and tears to enjoy for generations. Visit them at artland.com, where you can see their amazing work and outstanding reviews for yourself. Plus, learn about a special limited time offer. You'll know why Artland Photography has been Wedding Wire's couple's choice for the last 5 years. They also shoot everything from major corporate events to business and family portraits. Visit artland.com. It's all about you.
Hey, Chicagoland, Dan Proft here, and I'm here with my guy, Ryan Kelly, at the HomeLoanExpert.com. He's one of us, and he just gets it. Ryan, great to talk to you again. Look, obviously, home prices are going up, and homes are moving fast. Somebody's looking to sell their home in the Chicagoland area. What do they do?
Well, if you're looking to sell your house, I tell you, just kind of make up a price and put a for sale by owner sign out in the front yard, and you should have no problem selling that house. There's just not enough inventory. There's more buyers out there than there are sellers. But if you're thinking about buying a house, that's where you really better be on your A game. You better be pre-approved and pre-approved by a strong mortgage lender. At the Home Loan Expert Office, when we pre-approve you to buy a house, we go over your credit with you. We go over interest rates, payments, give you a good idea of what you should be looking for and what your price points are. And then we pre-approve you on a gold piece of paper. Literally, our pre-approvals are written on gold. And we send those to the agents. They know that you're ready to buy. Don't miss the house of your dreams. Get pre-approved today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee.
You've heard us say if your roof is needy,
call From Weedy.
Also,
If your gutters, siding, windows, or entry door is needy,
Call Crumweedy. What's that all about?
This is Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson, the boys from Crumweedy.
We created a special deal just for you. Replace your roof and receive free gutters. Or replace the siding or windows on your home and receive a free entry door.
We'll do a great job, and you'll get the Crumweedy promise of installation that is up to manufacturer specifications, so your warranty is intact.
And get free gutters or an entry door as a thank you. Some restrictions apply, and this special won't last long.
We fix roof, siding, and window problems. We're here. We're a third-generation family business that was built on the same conservative values as you. If your home is needy, call
Crumweedy. 630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
Get all the info at myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I went to have my blood test done a few weeks ago, and I met the doctor, and he was really encouraged by my progress, and I showed him what I was taking, and he started looking at all the ingredients, and he said, I'm really impressed with the shiitake mushroom. And he said, this stuff, it could clean out your arteries. And I'm like, oh, wow. He said, you may be onto something here. And he said, you just keep that up, and maybe you can start cutting back on your medication. And he says, you're helping your health by doing that. And I'm like, whoa, endorsement by the doctor.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, continuing on our theme of hating men, Amy, women's body parts need a name makeover. They need to be renamed.
Oh, why is that?
Leah Kaminsky makes the point in an article of BBC Future that men are all over women's bodies, meaning dead white male anatomists. The names of female body parts named after men. So, for example, the pouch of Douglas.
Excuse me?
I don't know where that is, and I don't want to know.
Of Douglas?
Named after James Douglas. Fallopian tubes, Gabriel Fallopian.
Oh.
His name was actually Fallopian.
Okay, whose last name is Vagina?
I don't know. Caspar Bartholin for the...
I'm familiar with these body parts.
The Bartholin's glands.
Uh-huh.
And then...
Who's ovary?
I don't know. I don't know any of these. Ernest Grafenberg for the never found Grafenberg spot. So
that's what he studied.
So
Nice.
Ms. Kaminsky argues that the continued use of these mostly male eponyms not only reflects the gender bias in our medical knowledge base, it may continue to perpetrate it. So we've got to rename these female body parts so as to eliminate male bias when it comes to, say, the Bartholin glands.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thoughts, suggestions?
Well, I have some new names for some body parts.
Okay, go ahead.
I think that breasts should be called peaks.
That's trademarked by Twin Peaks.
I think that the vajayjay should be called the girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Or is that a little too?
No,
or
it's-
just
it's
the
very-
vajayjay.
it's very personal.
Just the vajayjay instead of the other word. The other word sounds so gross, you know? Fallopian tubes, that can stay the same.
You're going to give Gabriel Fallopius a pass?
Yeah, I'm giving him Gabriel.
All right,
Yes, that's
all right,
fine.
okay.
Because that was
It's
key
generous.
research about, because sometimes, things would get stuck in fallopian tubes.
What about Grafenberg, since he's perpetrated this fraud on men? Men should hate Grafenberg.
The G-man? We'll just call it the G. And then the uterine should just be called free wrench. So how about temporary housing?
How about for the girlfriend, what about Mesopotamia?
Mesopotamia?
You know, the cradle of civilization.
Oh, it's too long. Do you have any suggestions, Dan?
I certainly do not.
I think that's good that
people
you
already
don't.
hate this man enough. I don't need to encourage them to pile on.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Is this week the most important week of the year? The combination of the outcome of the G7 summit and tomorrow's face-to-face between Trump and Kim Jong-un at 7:07.
And you had me at hello. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
7 wounded in shootings at a child's birthday party in Aurora. An Arizona man and a Lyft driver charged in a deadly Chicago crash. 3 family members found dead in Darien. 5-run 6th inning lifts the Pirates over the Cubs, and the White Sox take 2 of 3 from the Red Sox. Gray day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Will this time be any different? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
The United States has been fooled before.
Secretary of State Pompeo says President Trump is fully prepared for tomorrow's meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un tonight, our time, taking a very different approach than what's been tried in the past, he says. Fox's John Decker's live in Singapore.
With their historic summit just hours away, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says the goal has not changed.
The complete, verifiable, and irreversible denuclearization of the Korea Peninsula is the only outcome that the United States will accept.
Pompeo said without such an agreement, North Korea will face more crippling economic sanctions. The Secretary of State said the preparatory talks were moving quite rapidly, and he anticipates that they will come to their logical conclusion even more quickly than the U.S. anticipated. But Pompeo also played down the possibility of a quick breakthrough. Dave?
And John, the president landed in Singapore, still upset over what happened at the G7 summit in Canada when Prime Minister Trudeau said Canadians won't be pushed around and will impose retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, President Trump tweeted, "Sorry, we cannot let our friends or enemies take advantage of us on trade anymore," after talks with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau went sour. White House trade advisor Peter Navarro accused Trudeau of stabbing the president in the back, telling Fox News Sunday,
"There's a special place in hell for any foreign leader that engages in bad faith diplomacy with President Donald J. Trump."
In response to Navarro, the European Council's president tweeted, "There's a special place in heaven for the Canadian leader." Dave?
Rachel, in Orlando, Florida police officer was shot late last night and needed surgery after responding to a domestic dispute involving a man who barricaded himself in an apartment with 4 young kids, prompting other residents to be evacuated in their pajamas. The 13-year-old boy accused in an Indiana middle school shooting goes to juvenile court this morning. The classmate he shot 7 times remains hospitalized. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Gray skies and 62 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police say at least 11 were shot, including 3 who were killed in a 3-hour span on the city's south and west sides. Police say 6 were shot in the West Woodlawn neighborhood around 1 a.m. Sunday. 3 are recovering after a porch collapsed on Chicago's north side. The collapse happened last night during a party at an apartment in the 5700 block of North Ashland. An investigation is underway after 3 family members were found dead inside of a home in Darien. Police say their bodies were discovered early yesterday inside of an apartment near 75th Street and Farmingdale Drive. 2 house fires in Brookfield. One was deadly. Both incidents happened early on Sunday morning. A woman and her dog were not able to make it out alive. It happened in the 4300 block of Arthur Avenue. Not far away from that fatal fire, a home in the 3400 block of McCormick was struck by lightning. Neighbors say no one was home at the time of that strike. The shimmering grown-up musical The Band's Visit nabbed the Best New Musical Tony Award. Centers on members of an Egyptian police orchestra booked to play a concert in a Tony Israeli city, but ending up accidentally in a drowsy small town. The Band's Visit made the leap to Broadway this year, starring Tony Shalhoub and Katrina Lenk. Both earned Tony Awards last night. Lenk, born here in Chicago, raised much of the time in this state and a little bit in Iowa. Lenk took dance classes beginning at age 3, picked up the viola, and then graduated from Northwestern University. Pirates reel off 5 runs in the 6th inning. They knock off the Cubs 7-1 at Wrigley. White Sox put the game away late thanks to Daniel Palka with a 5-2 win over the Red Sox at Fenway. The news, a service of Lowe's. Pro customers at Lowe's save 5% every day when you use your Lowe's business credit account. 5% on all purchases in-store or online, subject to credit approval, U.S. only. 7:04 on AM 560. It's time for a dry basement and a healthy home. Time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity says the collusion investigation could have been much easier.
Why didn't they ever go to the Trump campaign? And if James Comey was so upset in the spring of 2016, why didn't James Comey go to President Trump and say, look, we're watching this guy. He's associated with your campaign. Boom. Case over. Close up shop, Robert Mueller.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
.706. Let's get an update on the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's inbound delays start around Devon. It's 30 minutes Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 24. Kennedy, an hour. O'Hare to downtown, 26 minutes from Montrose, 25 on the Express. Outbound 35 minutes to Montrose, an hour and 3 minutes to O'Hare. Plus, it's heavy on westbound 190. Kennedy, the terminal area at the airport. Eisenhower, an hour, 390 to downtown, 40 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 45 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 56 minutes. The Ryan, 36 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 25 minutes, 90 to the Merge. Mission Ford, 42. Northbound Tri-State. The delays are from Cicero to 47th and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway tight lead to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway, Yackley to 355 and 83 to the Tri-State. From northbound Veterans Memorial. It's slow going from I-55 most of the way to North Avenue. Northwest Indiana's fine. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Spotty drizzle for the morning, otherwise today, rather cloudy, high 73. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low 62. Warmer tomorrow with more clouds than sun, high 82 and a low 63. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
62 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the truth of the foreclosure crisis. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So 24 hours from Trump's summit meeting with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. And do you have any apprehension about Trump's negotiating skills, or do you see this meeting in and of itself as a victory? Is this nothing but positive outcomes available for Trump? Trump talking about Kim Jong-un's personality, a personality we don't know, had this to say as part of his exit press conference from the G7.
This is a leader who really is an unknown personality. People don't know much about him. I think that he's going to surprise on the upside, very much on the upside. We'll see. But never been done, never been tested. Many people, the world leaders, I'm talking about world leaders that have been right next to him, have never met him. So we're going in with a very positive spirit, I think very well prepared. I think, and by the way, we have worked very well with their people. They have many people right now in Shanghai. Our people have been in Singapore. Our people have been working very, very well with the representatives of North Korea. So we're going in with a very positive attitude, and I think we're going to come out fine. But I've said it many times. Who knows? Who knows? May not work out. It's a good chance it won't work out. There's probably an even better chance that it will take a period of time. It'll be a process.
And
he said if things go well, he could eventually one day invite Kim Jong-un to the White House.
He did say that, and he also said he'll be able to make a quick assessment of Kim Jong-un in terms of whether this will be a productive meeting or not.
I think within the first minute, I'll know. My touch, my feel. That's what I do. How long will it take to figure out whether or not they're serious? I said maybe in the first minute.
My touch, my feel. It's just what I do. It reminded me of the movie, Jerry Maguire. You had me at hello.
You had me at hello. You had me at hello.
I don't know how that, since that hasn't happened, I'm not sure how that
reminded you. Well, I'm
reminded
just
you,
saying
but
that
okay.
that's why, it's either going to happen instantly. There's either going to be chemistry there or there's not going to be.
Well, but the question is win-win for Trump, no matter what happens. Holman Jenkins, writing in the Wall Street Journal, what's in it for Donald over the weekend, says that Trump doesn't have all the cards, but deal, no deal, summit, no summit. From an America First perspective, Trump might have no trouble selling himself and his supporters, for example, a deal that left the North in possession of nuclear weapons but got rid of its long-range ballistic missile program, putting U.S. outside the range of the North Koreans' nukes, even if that would not be received well. It could be even received as a sellout by the South Korean, by our South Korean and Japanese allies. That Trump has a lot of cards here, and Kim Jong-un's play, perhaps, again, not exactly a lot of Kim Jong-un experts running around, but you've got some suggestion based on conduct that Kim Jong-un worries about China holding all the cards in North Korea.
Well, China also escorted him there on a 747.
Yeah.
I mean, you think they don't own him?
Well, they're right, and that's the nobody is confused about that.
Right.
So that's a concern that Kim has, and if he wants the regime to survive, he wants essentially the U.S. to become an undeclared patron and investor in the longevity of his regime, that propping him up so long as he denuclearizes is in America's long-term interests. And if such a deal were to be cut, essentially providing financial wherewithal in exchange for the elimination of the long-range ballistic missile program, or better yet, denuclearization of North Korea, is that an acceptable deal to make, or is that, akin to the Iranian surrender deal that Obama negotiated? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. How confident are you about Trump's optimism? Do you share his optimism for this summit meeting?
I'm cautiously optimistic. I mean, even though they say they might denuclearize, I would never trust them. So I just, if President Trump can do something that no American leader has done before, kudos to him. I know that he has accomplished something. He got those 3 American hostages freed.
Yeah.
And that was huge. And for their family members, I mean, that was something that President Obama couldn't get done for one of the 3.
Well,
one was captured while he was in office.
The interesting thing was if you could get Un to open North Korea a little bit, because he's sort of in the Gorbachev position, right? He doesn't want to liberalize, but he definitely wants to sustain his regime. And Gorbachev wanted to sustain the Soviet Union. He thought Glasnost and Perestroika opening up a little bit would be the pathway to sustaining and addressing the internal conflicts that were crippling the Soviet Union. Of course, it turned out to be the Soviet Union's undoing. And so it would be the same with Kim Jong-un. For example, Holman Jenkins writes, if South Korea surrendered to the North tomorrow, in 2 weeks it would end up running the place purely due to its superior productivity and world-class technical and cultural know-how. Of course, he's right. So can you be the undeclared patron in such a way that you get some small L liberalization of North Korea, which Kim Jong-un might think, well, this infusion of capital, the increase in economic activity will secure my spot, and in fact, it ends up undermining the regime through the openness, and people start to realize in North Korea something that I think a lot of people don't, that they're slaves to this dictatorship.
Right, and that's the thing. Open their borders so that people could leave, even to go on a vacation or just see their family members in South Korea, and to end the oppression of his people. I mean, we don't know exactly, like you hear horror stories and you can see, on satellite, the trees have been cut down so that they can burn them for warmth and all that. But we don't know what exactly kind of conditions they're living in because they don't let journalists in.
Bob and Lyle, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, hi, good morning. I thought about this with my brother, and we came up with China's strategy. It's always China. They're behind the whole thing. They're the ones that wanted North Korea to have nukes in the first place. It's all it's a big rouge. But here's what's going to go down. They're going to de-nuke. They're going to get rid of it. And then what they're going to do is then they'll have a conventional warfare after this is all gone. We pull out of there, rebuild their nation. The Chinese and the communists will just take over through North Korea. They'll just invade that country and take it over. Search out history. You'll see the same thing happen in Vietnam and everywhere else. The communist countries are trying. That's what they'll do. And we'll fall for it, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. I don't. Thanks for the call, Bob. I'm not so sure I follow that logic or the logic of sort of some kind of expansionist China that would formally seek to acquire North Korea rather than just be their sponsor state as they currently are.
The president of China has met twice in the past week with Kim Jong-un to prepare for this meeting.
Right.
Why? It's none of his business. Why is he inserting himself? I mean, I'm sure they just didn't go over travel plan 747. I want you to show up in the same type of plane that President Trump shows up in. But China is, I know.
Is North Korea's sponsor state.
Yeah.
So that's why they're meeting, right? China is a chess piece. North Korea is a chess piece for the Chinese. That's not the same thing as suggesting some kind of Chinese invasion. I don't see that. Tom in Deer Park.
Good morning. I'm not an expert on nuclear arms treaties, but we have our chief negotiator, the President of the United States, who is known to not read books, is known to refuse to read policy papers as he'd rather watch television, and now he has paid aides and staffers that have to take official government documents that he physically rips up and tape them back together. So if you're an American citizen and you think that the great Donald is going to be able to lead a contingent of our negotiators in the most probably important thing, nuclear proliferation with a rogue state like North Korea, if you're an American citizen and you think this is cool or that he's going to do it, think again.
Okay. I mean, I don't know what the basis for the cynicism is exactly. Thanks for the call, Tom. I mean, I guess it's just a personality dislike of Trump, which I somewhat get, and I understand the concerns, but well, I mean, all of the deep thinkers from the foreign policy establishment haven't been able to stop the North Korean nuclearization program. And I don't think you stop it with surrender. So if you were to negotiate something like the Iranian deal the Obama administration negotiated, would that be a problem?
And we're not going to stop it with invasion.
But the America First perspective and his unpredictability is sort of what brought Kim Jong-un to the table. And by the way, Kim Jong-un and his regime's existence, meaning his existence, it is not without peril. And he knows that, which is why he's coming to the table, which is why I think Holman Jenkins makes a pretty persuasive argument that at minimum, he wants America to be an undeclared patron. And certainly the Chinese would like that as well for the interest to converge. And by the way, I mean, there is some danger for Trump. I think there's more danger for Trump than Holman Jenkins says, and it's sort of contained, I would say, as a cautionary tale. Ben Rhodes, his book that he's been out hawking, boy, it's just getting more and more interesting. There was an excerpt from his book that was reprinted in The Atlantic about the Red Line Syrian debacle, the Obama administration. And Rhodes depicts both Obama and other members of the president's foreign policy team as tragically indecisive and self-absorbed, sort of including himself. And then he goes on to write, for 8 years, Republicans had defended Bush's ability to do whatever he pleased as commander-in-chief. Now they were suddenly devoted to constitutional limits on the commander-in-chief. But Obama's White House lawyers were making the same argument that, to paraphrasing Rose, there was no domestic legal basis for a strike in Syria other than the assertion the president had the inherent power to take military action that did not constitute a war. And so ultimately, Obama's big idea, in response to defending the red line that he artificially drew, was to seek congressional authorization for strikes on Syria, which he wasn't going to get, and he knew it. He didn't want to make the call.
Oh.
So he went back to saying to the criticism he lodged against Bush and said, well, if that's what I said about Bush, then that's what I should abide. But he didn't want to make the call, and thus the indecision, and thus the sarin gas attacks. And compare that to Trump, of course, who in April of 2017, after another sarin gas attack, what did he do? Launched a strike on Syria without congressional authorization. So, it's a question of looking to either live up to your threats or looking to just make threats, looking to back up the position that you take, or just taking positions rhetorically that sound good and seeing if the other side will call your bluff.
And if the meeting goes well tomorrow, they're going to have a meeting the following day, and then again possibly have Kim Jong-un visit the White House.
And then
that would certainly be historical.
And then right after Kim Jong-un, Putin said that he's ready to meet President Trump in Washington, and President Trump has even hinted that it might be okay for Russia to rejoin the G7 and make it the G8, or maybe switch in Putin for Trudeau, one of the two.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Plenty of cloudy skies today. That's what we're going to have. A high of 72 degrees. Keeping our fingers crossed that there's no stray showers, but one never knows because we've had perpetual rain tonight. Oh, that was the name of your grade school band, Perpetual Rain.
Jay Giles Band tribute band.
Yeah. Tonight, mostly cloudy. And then for tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies. We will have some sun. Not a lot, but it will be warmer. A high of 82 on Wednesday. We should have a full day of sunshine finally. But first, let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Dan. Your Kennedy Expressway is heavy in both directions now. The inbound delay start at Canfield. It's an hour and 4 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 30 minutes from Montrose, 25 in the Express. Outbound, it's half an hour to Montrose, an hour to the airport. Edens, 30 minutes Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 25. Eisenhower, 58 minutes, 390 to downtown. It's 36 from Manheim. Outbound 55 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes, 355 to the drive. Outbound 50 minutes. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95 to downtown. Bishop Ford, Brutal, 54 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. The Tri-State now has southbound delays. Oakton to the Adams Tollway and Lawrence to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound jam, Cicero to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. The other tollways are also heavy. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
If you're a business owner, you've experienced your fair share of emergency, and they always seem to happen at the worst time. Well, wouldn't it be nice to have someone on call 24/7 to help for whatever may come up? It's not possible for every emergency, but it's available for your business's IT and computer systems. With a support agreement with Turnkey IT, they will keep your computer systems online, running with no problems. If an emergency does pop up, Turnkey is prompt and responsive without charging an enormous after-hours rate. Now, the certified pros at Turnkey proactively keep your business computer systems online with remote and on-site support. And right now, for a limited time, you can save up to $500 a month on a support contract, plus unlimited cloud backup at no cost. Enjoy the secure feeling of your network being supported by Turnkey IT 24/7. Find out more information by visiting turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Check it out, GreatParkingLots.com.
Go to GreatParkingLots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Special early season discounts if you act now. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. GreatParkingLots.com.
Looking to secure financing on a new home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Mitch contacted the nation's largest online lender, obsessed with their rocket for a VA mortgage, but was overwhelmed by their ridiculously high closing costs. So he called Team Hochberg, which he should have done in the first place. Team Hochberg secured Mitch a lower rate with substantially lower closing costs. When securing a VA loan, you can contact the largest online lender who finances the millions of dollars promoting their rocket through higher rates and closing costs. Or you can call a trusted local lender, Team Hochberg, at 312-751-1333, who values the sacrifices you made for our country and has substantially lower closing costs and interest rates, because guess what? We don't have a rocket. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358 and MLS 19186.
Dennis Prager here again, happily telling you about Relief Factor and my wife's knee pain that is gone because of Relief Factor. I'm taking it, and it lowers my pain as well. A lot of people have muscle or joint pain. Our housekeeper's husband couldn't work any longer because of back pain, so we gave him Relief Factor, and now he's back to work. Can I guarantee it will work for you? Of course not. But the majority of people who tried the 3-week quick start for just $19.95 go on to order more. Give it a try at ReliefFactor.com.
Your local 1-hour heating and air conditioning knows how miserable it feels when your AC goes out. You want it fixed fast, fixed right, and get a fast quote. Unlike some companies, we don't give you a quote until we actually see what the problem is. Then we'll give you our straightforward price and always stand by our work. Right now, get savings on any AC repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, does this ring a bell, Amy?
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty.
What such a sweet show.
Fred Rogers.
Yeah.
There is a documentary out about Fred Rogers, Won't You Be My Neighbor? It is excellent.
Oh, really?
I strongly encourage people to see this. You know what 143 is? Get a little spoiler alert here, but maybe some people know. I mean, he was an ordained minister, Presbyterian minister, and he studied child development. He wasn't just some guy who, they threw on TV with some hand puppets.
Right.
143. This is like kind of interesting numerology. 143 was his weight for most of his life.
Okay.
And it's also I love you.
Oh, and 143.
143, which of course was his sort of kind of positivistic view and aspiration for humanity. This is not kid stuff, this documentary. It actually speaks to kind of the things that he used to talk about, the things important in life that you can't see, that are abstract. Individualism, respect, tolerance,
responsibility,
treating kids' feelings as important as adult feelings. It was interesting. The other thing that the documentary does, it addresses some of the criticism that came late in his life, and including from some conservatives, which I thought was silly, and I still think is silly, and I thought it addressed it well. The idea that his, like, everyone is special was in part responsible for the snowflake generation.
Oh, come on.
And that's not what he was saying at all. He was individualism. You're special just because you are you. That's not the same thing as entitlement. That's why that conservative criticism of him was so misplaced. But
what's the title of it?
Won't You Be My Neighbor, Fred Rogers. It is just a outstanding film, and you hear from his wife, you hear from his two sons, you hear from obviously a lot of the people that worked for so many years on his show.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
But it is
it
really,
in
really good.
now?
Highly recommended. Yeah, saw it yesterday in Chicago, so check it out.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, celebrity suicides. We have another one, but first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Gray skies. The dense fog advisory has passed, but we still have fog, especially across the Southland, especially Lansing, Joliet, and Morris, where visibilities are below a mile this morning. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was cautiously optimistic ahead of Tuesday's summit between President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
President Trump believes that Kim Jong-un has an unprecedented opportunity to change the trajectory of our relationship and bring peace and prosperity to his country. We are hopeful this summit will have set the conditions for future productive talks.
The president insisting on full denuclearization and has said the U.S. will help the North get on its feet economically. Gas prices continue to rise around the country. So far, the nationwide average for a gallon of gas is $3.01 per gallon. Analyst Troby Lundberg says oil prices are decreasing and refiners are passing down a lot of that savings, especially in the coming weeks. Primaries in several states tomorrow. We'll watch as voters cast ballots in Virginia, Nevada, Maine, North Dakota, and South Carolina. Chicago police say at least 11 were shot, 3 killed in a 3-hour span on the city's south and west sides. 3 are recovering from severe injuries after a porch collapsed on Chicago's north side. An investigation is underway after 3 family members were found dead inside of a home in Darien. Their bodies discovered early yesterday inside of an apartment complex near 75th and Farmingdale Drive. Investigators in Bloomington are tight-lipped about a shooting on the city's east side that killed 2 and injured severely 2 more. Pirates reel off 5 runs in the 6th inning. They knock off the Cubs 7-1 at Wrigley. White Sox, and thanks to Daniel Palka's 2-run double in the top of the 9th, put away the Red Sox at Fenway 5-2. The news, a service of Napa. This month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores, a 3-pack of Peak microfiber claws are just $1.99 with each purchase. Napa will make a donation to the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund. That's Napa know-how while supplies last. 7:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Joe Walsh has Trump's back.
The fiasco that was today, the Philadelphia Eagles didn't show up. This whole mess. This is on the Eagles. This is on these football players. This is not on Donald Trump. I don't give a damn what CNN or MSNBC or any of them say, because they're all, of course, taking shots at Trump. This isn't Trump. This isn't Trump at all.
The Joe Walsh radio program. Afternoons at 5, right before Larry Elder at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Pursue your passion with a degree from Aurora University Online. Choose fully online programs in business, computer science, and more. To learn more, visit online.aurora.edu.
Hey, Chicagoland, Dan Proft here. I'm here with my guy Ryan Kelly at thehomeloanexpert.com. He's one of us, and Ryan just gets it. People are looking to buy a home right now. What do they do?
It's a great question, and it's a tight real estate market right now. I think most people know that, especially if you're actively looking to buy a house. Maybe you're on Zillow, Realtor.com, you got the apps on your phone, you're stalking them at work, and you're waiting for that right house to hit the market. Well, when it does, you better be pre-approved, and you better be pre-approved by a strong mortgage lender like the Home Loan Expert team. If you think you're the only one watching those same neighborhoods and watching those same streets, you're dead wrong. There's a lot of people out there waiting and watching. When that house hits the market, boom, goes under contract fast. Get pre-approved today at thehomeloanexpert.com, and you'll give yourself a big advantage when you do find that house. Go in there, get in there with your agent. You like it, write an offer, throw the pre-approval on the table. You should get an accepted contract. I'm Ryan Kelly, the Home Loan Expert. No one makes buying a home easier. Get pre-approved at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC.
7:35 and a check on your morning ride to work. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's inbound delay start at Peterson. It's 29 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 27. Kennedy, an hour and 4 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 32 minutes from Montrose, 30 in the Express. Outbound an hour and 3 minutes to the airport. Eisenhower, 58 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 55. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 50 minutes. Ryan is 35 minutes, 95 to downtown. Southbound Tri-State heavy, Oakton to the Adams Tollway and Lawrence to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound a mess, Cicero to 31st, then from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Delays on the northbound Veterans Memorial from I-55 most of the way to North Avenue and Army Trail to 290. Traffic, service of Lowe's. Pro customers at Lowe's save 5% every day when you use your Lowe's Business Credit Account. That's 5% on all purchases in-store or online. Subject to credit approval, U.S. only. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, cloudy and 73 today. We may see a few breaks of sun by late in the afternoon. Cloudy and 62 overnight. More clouds than sun, but a bit warmer tomorrow, a high of 82. Currently 63. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We mentioned it on the show on Friday because it happened, or the news
broke
during the show that Anthony Bourdain was found dead in a hotel room in France, an apparent suicide, and that has subsequently been confirmed.
Yeah, the Parts Unknown star used the belt from a bathrobe, and the prosecutor over there said he was found hanging inside the bathroom.
Of course, you get some interesting reactions to suicide, and there's been a rash of them, high-profile suicides in the recent, say, 12 to 18 months. You think of
Robin Williams,
Kate Spade, that was more recent. You think Chester Bennington, the front man for Linkin Park.
Oh, that's right.
The great Chris Cornell. Soundgarden, Audioslave.
Yesterday, some actor from the Goldbergs, and he was also on Modern Family a few times. He committed suicide.
Val Kilmer, Iceman.
And he's going to be Iceman in Top Gun 2.
Yeah. He responded, kind of tough. Would you have taken your life 2 years ago when, like me, you were unable to take in food and move it with your tongue over your taste buds because your tongue was too swollen? Is too swollen. I think and dream and plan on eating and tasting and enjoying every meal I've ever enjoyed and every meal I've learned to enjoy in my imagination. Although I've never met a meal I didn't like in the last 40 years except anything with too much cilantro. What was it? You woke up and you realized you were no longer hungry, and that even with a young daughter at home, you would never be hungry enough again to want to take in breath. Was your father's hate still so present as to cloud over every last sunny moment of every single damn day, Anthony? You left too soon, and I'm going to prove it. So toward taking Anthony Bourdain to task for suicide, Val Kilmer taking sort of the angle about the selfishness of suicide.
Well, he did battle some demons. I mean, when in his 20s, he was a heroin addict.
Yeah.
I mean, he was hardcore and had, did a lot of cocaine and was the original bad boy chef. But recently he was interviewed by ETV and he seemed to love life.
I'm not a journalist. I consider myself an enthusiast. And I mean, by my way of thinking, given the opportunity, who wouldn't do what I do? I mean, to get to go to cool places and make self-indulgent television about it, who wouldn't do that?
I mean, he was amazing at his job, and I was so jealous because I always thought, I mean, if anybody in the world who has the best job in the world, he does. He gets flown around for free all over the world and eats wonderful food.
Life is good. I'm happy to be here and proud of the people I work with.
Yes, but what you say publicly and what may be going on privately are two very different things. People don't really know what's going on in other people's lives. That's just a fact, and so that's the surprise.
But in his last show, he was in Hong Kong and said something maybe prophetic.
Lights of Hong Kong behind me. It's a gift, a dream, a curse. The best thing, the happiest thing, yet also the loneliest thing in the world.
That's sort of a point that Kirsten Powers picks up in an op-ed she wrote about this in USA Today, where she talks about sort of our culture that places such value on escalating financial and personal achievements. And then when you attain them and they're not gratifying, what's left? She writes, if we only get that big raise or new house or have children, we will finally be happy, but we won't. In fact, in many ways, achieving all your goals provides the opposite of fulfillment. It lays bare the truth that there's nothing you can purchase, possess, or achieve that will make you fulfilled over the long term. She suggests that, of course, there are people with chemical imbalances, but most Americans who are depressed, anxious, or suicidal, it's because something is wrong with our culture, not because something is wrong with them. Changing our culture is what's critical. And, oh, by the way, Kirsten Powers relays her own thoughts of suicide. Kirsten Powers, you see on Fox News.
Oh, yeah.
We've had her on the show,
Yes.
her book about free speech. She said, my family and friends told me I was living the dream and that I was too strong to succumb to suicide. Even my psychiatrist didn't take my complaint seriously, saying I didn't present as a suicidal person who was more likely to show up disheveled and unbathed than with a blowout and a fresh manicure. Never mind that the day before I stood pressed against the 20th floor bathroom window of a building, where I was consulting for a campaign, sobbing and wish I could open it and jump to my death. Or that a few days before that I had turned on the oven and put my head in it, pulling it out only when an image of my younger brothers, also grieving my father's sudden death, flashed in my mind. Despite my doctor's claim nothing was wrong, I insisted he changed my antidepressant, and within a few weeks my suicidal thoughts diminished. I'll never know whether the antidepressant was the cause of my suicidal thoughts or not. What I do know is that every day I didn't kill myself felt like a victory.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a terrible thing. I'm sure most people have been affected by someone in their social circles who has committed suicide, and it is a devastating thing because of
so selfish. Especially he's an
the
11-year-old daughter, and Kate Spade had a 13-year-old daughter. I mean that they have ruined their child's life unless they get some serious counseling right now. It's being revealed today that Anthony Bourdain had a brutal work schedule, and that in the past few months he was absolutely exhausted. He kept up a grueling and, arduous schedule, traveling all over the world and pumping out as many parts unknown as he could.
Yeah, exhaustion doesn't seem to me a proximate cause of why he chose to do what he did.
And he was still dating that actress who, Asia Argento, who she was one of the accusers in the Howard Weinstein case. So I don't know. She told reporters when she was leaving her home in Italy that he was my everything. He was my rock, my love, my protector. I'm beyond devastated.
Interesting point in the Powers piece about reducing the incident of suicide. She interviewed John Draper, who's the director of the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, and he told her what people don't really know is that there's research that shows that media can reduce suicide. Remember, we've talked about this. in the context of these attacks, these school shootings. Why are we printing the names of the school shooters? Why are we saying the names of the school shooters? There's a reason the Chicago Tribune, for example, and other publications don't report on suicides, because you don't want to encourage copycats. And there's research to show how media handles this can influence people that are struggling with some of the same demons that give rise to and that other people succumb to. And so it's interesting to hear from Draper. He goes on to say, what creates a contagion effect is when the media focus mostly on the suicide and the way the person killed themselves. If people are more open about talking about coping through suicidal experiences, and the media highlight those stories, like Kirsten Powers' column and her admission, the evidence is very clear that this has a very positive effect on getting people through a suicidal crisis.
Well, according to the
media impact.
Yeah, the suicide hotline, according to them, after Robin Williams killed himself, suicide rate went up 10%. 2,000 more suicides were reported in the following month after he killed himself.
Yeah, and it's hard to establish a causal link, but there is research that indicates some influence, if some correlation in terms of how the media covers it, and some media outlets have responded, as I've just described, and so that's sort of a leading indicator that it's a relevant part of the discussion. I mean, certainly we start from the premise that media has influence. Media influences how people think, how people behave. Going back to the Mr. Rogers documentary, he started that from the beginning. I mean, he knew that from the beginning. Media, what we watch and consume, becomes a part of us. And so the conversation about the media's responsibility, not in a legal sense, but in a cultural sense, I think is a relevant one. I'm glad that Kirsten Powers brought it up in her piece.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Clouds today after some light morning rain. A high of 73 degrees. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 62. Tomorrow, warmer with more clouds than sun. A high of 82. And full sunshine, folks, if you wait for it. On Wednesday, it'll be sunny, pleasant, a high of 80 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Amy and Dan, traffic's not too pleasant. Kennedy inbound delay start at Canfield. It's an hour and 4 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 32 from Montrose, 30 in the Express. Outbound 35 minutes to Montrose, an hour and 3 minutes downtown to the airport. Edens runs 29 minutes, Lake Hook Junction, outbound 28. Eisenhower, an hour and 2 minutes, 390 to downtown. It's 42 minutes from Manheim, outbound an hour and 15 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour 16 to 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 58 minutes. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound delays are from Oakton to the Adams Tollway and Lawrence to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound Cicero to 31st. Now from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, Adams Tollway heavy, two-way to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway in pockets from Naperville Road to the Tri-State. The northbound Veterans Memorial's jammed. I-55 most of the way to North Avenue, and then it's slow Army Trail to 290. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
It is a place where boys are made into men, and now young ladies are made into women. I'm talking about St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. It's in southeast Wisconsin, right outside of Milwaukee there, serving young men and now women with outstanding education and preparation for life. And now the same experience, again, is available for young ladies. Grades 7 through 12, there's boarding or day boarding, again, going full co-ed this summer. And it's not a place for juvenile delinquents. Children from all over the country and all over the world are honored to go to St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. It's a place for personal growth through a commitment in excellence, academic, spiritual, and character development, athletics, and the military traditions that have been shaping young minds since 1884. It's located on a beautiful 110-acre campus. And this summer, they have 4 one-week camp sessions, which, again, you can have full boarding or day camp if you'd like, ages 7 through 12. And I can't wait. If you go on their website, sjnma.org, sjnma.org, you can see the summer camp and the activities that they do. I want to go to the summer camp. Can I leave, Dan, for a week and go to the summer camp? I mean, I may be a little too old, but would that be all right?
If the camp says it's okay.
Okay, sjnma.org. Peyton and Eli are going. I can't wait to see what happens to them. Challenge them. It's also a place you can trust for your son or now daughters. As a mom, I want to know if I choose a military boarding school, that it would encompass the values that I look for. There's limited registration for that co-ed summer camp I just told you about, and there's year-round application process. Space is limited, as always. So here's what you do. Go to sjnma.org to find out about the school process and the summer camp, or just call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
In my practice, I was getting to the point where I couldn't have the strength to see that many patients anymore. I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis. It really affected my breathing and the strength that I had. And I was introduced to the fruits and veggies. Just slowly, my strength started to come back. And it was because of the good nutrition. I can't say enough good for Balance of Nature and what it's done for me. I recommend it to everybody.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Are you behind in your mortgage, facing foreclosure, being given the runaround on a loan modification application by some bank or servicer? Well, you're not alone, but I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've put together a team to help distressed homeowners like you. Give us a call. We give everyone who's eligible a free consultation. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
Do you want your basement to be dry most of the time? If so, Permaseal is not the company for you. At Permaseal, we believe your basement should be dry all the time, no matter how hard it rains. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. I hear story after story of homeowners who say their basement only leaks when it rains. Well, you don't worry about your living room or bedroom getting wet when it rains, and you should feel the same way about your basement. Just call 800-421-SEAL. We offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value. Your basement is already dry most of the time, but if you want your basement dry all the time, you know who to call. 800-421-SEAL. Permaseal has earned an A+ rating from the BBB and has received their 2016 Torch Award for Marketplace Ethics. That's 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
You've heard of living trusts and how they can help protect your assets, but you may not know if a living trust is right for you, or maybe you have questions about creating your own living trust. The fact is, almost everyone can benefit from a living trust, which can protect your assets from the court system and your loved ones from unnecessary expense and inconvenience. Learn more at a free seminar Thursday, June 14th at Papa Joe's Restaurant in Orland Park. Estate planning attorney Robert Zapolis will explain how to create your own living trust, estate planning under the new tax laws, why a will does not avoid probate, and more. Have your estate planning and living trust questions answered absolutely free. Don't miss this important seminar, Thursday, June 14th at 6:30 p.m. at Papa Joe's Restaurant, 145th and LaGrange Road in Orland Park. The seminar is free and a complimentary dinner is served, but you must make a reservation now. Call 708-478-1400. Call 708-478-1400. Again, 708-478-1400.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and this week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, call 1-800-300-2330. Seating is extremely limited. Call right now because this free ticket offer expires this Friday. That's 1-800-300-2330. That's 1-800-300-2330.
Men, are you tired of those daily blue enhancement pills that take days, weeks, or months to work, if they ever work at all? Listen up. Now you can take Red, the new natural male empowerment pill that works on demand. Even your partner will notice the difference the very first time you use it. To prove Red won't disappoint like the others, you're invited to participate in our nationwide I Take Red Partner Reaction Guarantee Trial. We're seeking participants for this nationwide trial, not only to prove it works the very first time you try it. We guarantee your partner will also notice the difference. Forget those slow-acting blue pills and join those who proudly take Red. Over 50,000 pills have already been claimed and supplies are limited. So to ensure your participation in this free nationwide trial, you must call now.
Superior Virility on Demand. You only need to take Red once to see what all the fuss is about. Call immediately to participate in our free nationwide trial. Call 800-658-0723. 800-658-0723. Be one of thousands to proudly say, I take Red. 800-658-0723.
AM 560. The Answer.
It's become a summer tradition, and it's back, Rockin' for the Troops, and it's happening on Saturday, July 14th at Northwestern Medicine Field in Geneva. Dan and I will be there. We're going to perform this year, did they tell you?
Yeah,
The
do
proceeds,
a couple of numbers.
Yeah, the proceeds will benefit the great work of Operation Support Our Troops America as they provide support for our military men and women and their families. This year, Rockin' for the Troops features Seventh Heaven, Isla Brown, Rocky Lynn, I remember him from El Paso, Ryan Weaver, and The Voices. Tickets are on sale now for just $25. You can purchase tickets at the box office at Northwestern Medicine Field or go online to rockinforthetroops.org. That's rockinforthetroops.org.
Ayla Brown and The Voices were there last year. You know who Ayla Brown is? Daughter of Scott Brown.
Oh.
Former U.S. Senator.
Oh, hi. Do you think Dad will be there?
Yeah.
Hi. Oh, can I help out? Maybe we can go swimming.
Can you introduce me to your dad? We were talking about celebrity suicides in the wake of the Anthony Bourdain suicide, the Kirsten Powers column in USA Today. Ralph and Rantoul, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning. By the way, I'm glad that Kirsten didn't go through it. I like Kirsten.
Yes.
I'm glad she's moving her way.
Yes.
If we didn't think that the type of the message and the frequency of the message was effective, all advertising would stop.
Right.
Of course we know that there's an influence, and I agree with your premise on that. But I'll even take it a step further. I think that some of the media outlets that obsessively dwell on these stories, or especially the way the stories are crafted and repeatedly spun night after night, they're doing that because they know it gets ratings and they want more money. They're making money off of it. I think about how many hundreds of hours Greta Van Susteren talked for an entire year almost about Natalie Holloway every night.
Yeah.
It didn't move that story any closer to a
That was
solution,
Nancy Grace.
but it kept her on the air.
Yeah, it was.
That was Nancy Grace, not Gretchen, too?
Greta did it too.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Gretchen. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're right about that, Ralph. Thanks for the call. Those are good examples. Or that's a good example. Nancy Grace, just her entire
she's
on-air
a hot
career is a
mess.
good example. All right. Well, let's end the hour with an uplifting story, shall we?
Okay. Surprise me.
All right. New Jersey teacher.
Yes.
Leaves $1 million gift for her for students. Genevieve Villacava is a former special needs teacher, the Dumont School District in New Jersey. 7 years after she died, $1 million check came to the school to fund scholarships for special needs students who want to pursue post-secondary education. Provide scholarships up to $25,000 for one or more students annually, starting with next year's high school graduates. And I know some people cynical. We talk about this all the time. Where did a special needs teacher come up with $1 million to leave behind? Well, she lived to the ripe old age of 89, number one. Number two, a friend of hers said that she lived through the Depression family lived through depression, and that sort of instilled in her a attitude of penny pinching. She wouldn't even buy the hearing aid she needed. She seemed to have few outfits, stopped going on vacation after her husband died, had a big influence on her, did the depression, being frugal. And so she managed to save that kind of cash to leave behind and leave a legacy of generosity as well as education.
Good for her.
Yes.
Students are lucky to have had her.
There you go.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Steve Cortez, former Trump Hispanic Advisory Council head, about the president's performance at the G7, his upcoming performance with Kim Jong-un, and what Bill Maher had to say about the economy at 8:08.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
3 family members found dead in Darien. Family of a Chicago teen found dead are asking for the public's help. Illinois is among the states on a recalled melon list. And a 5-run 6th-inning lifts the Pirates over the Cubs. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
They'll meet in 12 hours. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
President Trump has truly laid out a process here that is fundamentally different than the ones that we've gone through before.
And that includes a first-ever meeting between a U.S. president and a North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un. Secretary of State Pompeo says the goal, though, is still the same. Fox's John Decker live in Singapore.
Following President Trump's one-on-one meeting with Kim Jong-un, the U.S. delegation at the expanded bilateral meeting will include Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, Chief of Staff John Kelly, and National Security Advisor John Bolton. Pompeo, who laid the groundwork for this summit, briefed reporters several hours ago.
We're prepared to take actions that will provide them sufficient certainty that they can be comfortable that denuclearization isn't something that ends badly for them. Indeed, just the opposite.
The White House confirming that President Trump will meet with the media after his historic summit with Kim before departing for the U.S. tomorrow night. Dave?
Well, John, 12 hours ago, the president was tweeting, still focused on the summit over the weekend.
The president writing, fair trade is now to be called fool trade if it is not reciprocal. According to a Canada release, they make almost $100 billion in trade with U.S.
And that's Fox's Griff Jenkins. The president also wrote the U.S. pays close to the entire cost of NATO, protecting many of these same countries that rip us off on trade. Germany's leader called the president disavowing the G7 group statement sobering and a little depressing. There's a police standoff in Orlando, Florida. A man barricaded an apartment with 4 kids after a police officer was shot and needed surgery.
It's about 12:45 this morning. A woman met officers off-site here at the apartment complex and said her boyfriend had beat her up. And so officers went to the apartment to try and arrest that suspect. And that's when there was the exchange of gunfire and the officer was shot.
Dana J. with Fox 35 TV. And it's now more than 2,000 homes under evacuation orders in southwest Colorado because of a wildfire nearly barely contained. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Cloudy skies, 63 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police say 11 were shot, 3 killed in a 3-hour span on the city's south and west sides. 6 alone were shot in the West Woodlawn neighborhood early Sunday morning. 3 are recovering after a porch collapsed on Chicago's north side. Collapse happened last night during a party at an apartment block in the 5700 block of North Ashland Avenue. An investigation continues after 3 family members were found dead in a home in Darien. Bodies discovered early yesterday inside of an apartment near 75th and Farmingdale Drive. No one is in custody after an elderly woman was found beaten to death on Chicago's far south side. The victim discovered yesterday near 100th and Forest. 2 house fires in Brookfield, 1 deadly. Both incidents happened early Sunday morning. A woman and her dog were not able to make it out alive. It happened in the 4300 block of Arthur Avenue, not far away from that fatal fire. A home in the 3400 block of McCormick was struck by lightning. Neighbors say no one was at home. Family members of a Chicago teen found dead last month are asking for the public's help in figuring out how she died. Sadaria Davis was discovered May 11th. The 15-year-old had been missing since late April. Anyone with information about Davis's death is asked to call Area North detectives. Pirates over the Cubs 7-1. White Sox beat Boston 5-2 at Fenway. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network. Here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Envision Healthcare is being sold to private equity firm KKR. It's a deal worth more than $5.5 billion. Envision provides physician services to hospitals and healthcare facilities. Rockwell Automation is investing $1 billion in software company PTC. Rockwell will buy more than 10 million shares of newly issued PTC stock. Air France is facing more strikes this month, even though the airline is preparing contract proposals to ease the dispute. Unions say they will be striking from June 23rd to June 26th. Stocks skidded last week on speculation Italy could be considering leaving the Eurozone. Now the new economy minister, Giovanni Tria, is ruling out leaving the euro. The Dow was up 75 on Friday. NASDAQ added 10. The S&P gained 8. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
8:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder just wants America to know the facts.
Contrary to the Black Lives Matter narrative, the police have much more to fear from black males than black males have to fear from the police. In 2015, a police officer was 18.5 times more likely to be killed by a black male than an unarmed black male was to be killed by a police officer.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
All money managers may seem pretty much the same. But while some money managers may recommend high commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some money managers may have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some money managers are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. In other words, we're structured to be on your side. Maybe that's why most of our clients come to us from other money managers. Talk with us and find out why so many experienced investors are switching to and staying with Fisher Investments. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management. Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Visit us at FisherInvestments.com to find out what we can do for you.
It's 8:06 and time for a check of the morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Mike, we're seeing heavy delays on the northbound Veterans Memorial Tollway. From 143rd and Archer, it's jammed pretty much all the way up to North Avenue, and also slow Army Trail to 290. Southbound slow 290 to Roosevelt. The Tri-State is no better. It's southbound delays central to Bussey after a crash, then 2 to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound a mess from Cicero to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway tight from the Des Plaines Oasis to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway from Naperville Road much of the way to the Tri-State. Eden's 25 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 31. Kennedy, an hour and 4 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 32 minutes from Montrose, 30 in the Express. Eisenhower, an hour and 2 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, an hour 16, 355 to the Drive. The Ride, 40 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic, service of Lowe's. Pro customers at Lowe's save 5% every day when you use your Lowe's Business Credit Account. That's 5% on all purchases in-store or online. Subject to credit approval, U.S. only. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A rather cloudy day with spotty morning drizzle, high 73, mostly cloudy night, low 62. More clouds than sun tomorrow, high 82, and a partly cloudy night, low 63. Then Wednesday will be sunny, high of 80. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 63. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Tabota, your 401k specialist, whose goal is to protect, preserve, and grow your wealth. Saturday mornings at 7.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We're going to talk to our friend Steve Cortez momentarily, CNN political commentator and former head of Trump's Hispanic Advisory Council. And I know the talk is about the G7 summit, but ultimately that's just a proxy for a talk about America's economy and economic growth, isn't it? I mean, that's why trade policy has dominated the conversation and continues to, particularly with the protectionist impulses of the president and many of his advisors, not named Larry Kudlow. So I just want to point people to something Bill Maher said on his intolerable, politically incorrect show, whatever it's called, on HBO.
Ugh, I can't stand Bill Maher.
No, he's.
I mean, he rubs me the wrong way, but I want to hear what he said.
Right, and so, but the one thing he does is he gives voice to some of what the left actually thinks, but are unwilling to say, such as this, for example.
I feel like the bottom has to fall out at some point, and by the way, I'm hoping for it because I think one way you get rid of Trump is a crashing economy. Yeah. So please bring on the recession. Yeah. Sorry if that hurts people, but it's either root for a recession or you lose your democracy.
Root for a recession or lose your democracy. Rooting for a recession. Well, weren't conservatives who disagreed with Obama's economic policies criticized for cheering against the president, cheering against America, because we didn't believe in things like the backdoor takeover of U.S. health care?
It didn't matter what political party you were in. Last time we had a recession, people lost tens of thousands of dollars from their 401ks. So we're just finally starting to get back. Bill Maher can pound sand. He's got enough money to say something stupid like that.
Rooting for a recession. Well, that's what champagne socialists do. For more on this, we're joined by the aforesaid Steve Cortez. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan, Amy. Thanks for having me.
How about Bill Maher rooting for a recession because we have to do anything short of nuclear war to get rid of Trump?
Right. Well, between Bill Maher and then Robert De Niro, I would say to smug Hollywood elites, please keep talking down to us and keep condescending to the American people because you're going to ensure a Trump win, an even bigger win in 2020, the way that they lecture us. And Maher, I'll give him credit for honesty at least. He would rather see America fail than see Trump succeed. And I think that is true of a lot of the people on the left. He's just willing to be honest enough to say it, so I'll at least give him credit for that. But I won't give him credit for being as out of touch with as he is. The fact that liberal elites live a very different life than the rest of America, particularly working class folks, middle class people, largely in the middle of the country, who elected this president, the fact that they're as disconnected as they are is, I think, one of the problems in our country and one of the reasons that we're as divided as we are as a country is because cultural elites have no real understanding of where middle-income Americans and frankly, struggling working class Americans have lived for the last decade. Thankfully, the news on that front is getting dramatically better, whether Bill Maher likes it or not.
Well, what about this spat between President Trump and Prime Minister Trudeau and this tariff on dairy and then possible tariff on tobacco? I mean, did you think that this is needed?
I don't know if it's needed or not, but I think what Trump did, by the way, and this gets, of course, very little attention in mainstream media, he went in there and actually laid down, an incredibly aggressive offer. He said, how about we eliminate all tariffs, everyone? Because the United States will benefit disproportionately from doing so because in general, not in every case, but in general, our tariffs are far lower than other countries. Of course, they rejected that offer because they want managed trade. And I think there's a misconception out there that we've had this era of sort of golden free trade. That's just not the reality. We have incredibly managed trade, even with our friends, maybe even worse in some cases with our friendly nations. And it's been managed mostly to the detriment of the U.S. And we get the short end of the stick on most of these deals. A lot of that was done in years and decades past to try to help the world recover, way back post-World War II, for instance. But we're in a very different economic era now. And the fact that America, that we don't have reciprocal trade, the fact that countries like China abuse us, particularly with theft of intellectual property. Trump is coming and saying, while this does serve the Davos crowd very well, it serves the elites, whether corporate elites or political elites of the U.S., Europe, G7. It serves them very well. It doesn't serve working class people well in the United States, and that's what he was elected to do, is to, frankly, not tinker around the edges, but smash those kinds of constructs that haven't brought prosperity and security to the U.S.
Well, I mean, I'll give him credit for suggesting that both tariffs be essentially eliminated as well as subsidies, both ends of it,
right.
Both ends of mercantilism. So that's what he said, but what he's done is mercantilism, neo-mercantilism, the opposite. And so I know Trump defenders are quick to say over the last 2 years in response to some of his more controversial or outlandish statements. One is supposed to take Trump seriously, but not literally. Well, are we supposed to take him seriously, but not literally on free trade? Or are we supposed to take his actions literally, since that's what ultimately has the impact? And what he's literally done, despite what Larry Kudlow is suggesting he's doing, is impose taxes on goods, and that's not good.
Right. Well, listen, I'll say this. I think that where he wants to go, which he says, and I believe him, he wants to go to true free trade, the elimination of tariffs, because, again, that will be wonderful for America. Number one, because we'll outcompete our competitors. But number two, we're getting a raw deal right now in this managed trade that exists. Again, we don't live in a fairy tale land that they want to pretend we live in, a free trade, where the Davos crowd would like to convince the public that that situation exists. It doesn't. So I think then he backtracks, well, if we can't get there, and it doesn't look like we can right now, then if we're playing the game of managed trade, we're going to manage it better in our interest. And the United States for so long has not played in the international arena, whether it's security or economic structures. We have not played as though we have the strong hand. When we do, we have the strongest hand. I mean, we're looking at a straight flush, but we're playing like we have a pair of nines off at negotiating tables. And Trump is saying, enough of that.
But would you agree that this is short-term pain? At minimum, it is short-term pain. Short-term, this is not a good policy, and the medium-term concern is there's Kudlow on one side and Lighthizer and Navarro and Wilbur Ross on the other, and it seems like the troika of the other three is winning.
Right. No, listen, and I'll concede that. Again, this isn't a good thing to see. And you're right. Tariffs are a tax. They are absolutely a tax. Tariffs are a bad thing, in and of themselves. And I tend to line up far more with the Larry Kudlow side. He's my friend. Did a lot of TV with him over the years. And for instance, I can say, because I don't work for the president directly, I think that claiming national security rationales to protect steel, for instance, I think that's a big stretch and a mistake, quite honestly. My guess is Larry probably thinks that too. He can't say so because he works in the White House. But also, listen, there's a vigorous debate going on. That I can tell you, and that's public knowledge. There's a very vigorous debate going on among some of the very parties that you cite. I think some of the more anti-tariff crowds, pro-trade crowds, with the kind of the Goldman Sachs group, people like Gary Cohn, Dina Powell, who left the White House. I think that side got a stronger voice when they were in the White House. Right now, I think Larry, in some ways, is alone fighting. But look, I'm also not trying to portray that there's any great chasm, within the administration. I mean, Larry Kudlow wants free trade, but does also believe that the U.S. has been abused. We've been abused by a lack of reciprocity, lack of openness to their markets, by tariff situations which are not symmetrical. In other words, their tariffs are far higher than ours on their goods. And then I think even more importantly, perhaps than those two issues, is the issue of theft of intellectual property. I mean, that is because that is where China, for instance, and they're the worst abuser of it, China can vault ahead, decades of economic advancement, not by doing the hard work of R&D like the U.S. has to do in innovation, but by just simply stealing it, sometimes openly, sometimes not so openly, but regardless, the point is they're taking it and we've allowed it. And I think this president smartly is saying, enough. It's not just, and it's not right for American workers.
What do you think of President Trump's suggestion to make the G7 back to a G8 and invite Putin? Because isn't Russia's economy similar to Italy's? They're not that big
right.
of a player.
That I don't see the president's logic, quite frankly. And, I rarely disagree with this president, but I don't see that. The reason I don't see it, because you're right. For one thing, their economy is, I don't agree often with John McCain, but he was correct when he says that they're, a country masquerading, or a gas station masquerading as a country. So they're nothing like the rest of the G7. And even more importantly, the G7 isn't just about economics. It's supposed to be about shared values, right? That these are liberal democracies, which clearly Russia is not. So from that perspective, I don't see the reason to include Russia. Now, if it were primarily about national security, then I would argue Russia absolutely should be at the table. I mean, not that we agree with them on very much at all, but as the second biggest nuclear power in the world, I think dialogue is really, really important when it comes to security issues. But the G7 is primarily an economic alliance, and for that reason, I don't think they belong in there. I think that's a mistake by the president.
What do you think Trump needs to get out of his sit-down with Kim Jong-un?
I would hope for, as a base case, something to end the Korean War. When I say something, hopefully a full formal agreement to end the Korean War. I think that alone would be a huge achievement. and a great step to de-escalate the Korean Peninsula. But of course, what we're all hoping for, I think, is a much grander promise of total denuclearization of the peninsula. And what I think he's going to offer, we'll see, the world will find out soon, I think he's going to offer a slow withdrawal of American presence there. And that is very fitting with his philosophy of we are overextended, we're over-interventionist around the world. A lot of our allies, South Korea is a great example, wealthy country, not doing enough for its own security, probably the same for Japan, across the water from Korea. So what I think he'll offer them, I don't know this, I have no inside information, but I think he'll say, we will slowly start to extricate our presence from the Korean Peninsula in exchange for verifiable denuclearization. What I'd also love to see him put on the table, and I didn't talk to him, but I floated this to people in the White House, is also offer, for instance, this would be a great opportunity, offer free trade. Tell North and South Korea, both of you countries and the U.S., let's have zero tariffs between the three countries. Wouldn't that be an amazing arrangement? And talk about a way to guarantee peace. I mean, trade and commerce is a terrific way to do that. We tend to not go to war against our customers, right?
That's true, unless they've got fake eyebrows. Then at least we have rhetorical war, if nothing else. Let me ask you this. You're a financial services guy. That's your background. Jerome Powell, Fed chairman, holds a presser this week, expected to hike the benchmark interest rate for the second time this year, and may announce that instead of 3 rate hikes, we are going to get 4 this year. How does that play with the aspirational 4% GDP growth annually?
Right. Listen, we're trying to thread the needle economically of normalizing Fed policy, which is a great thing, by the way. I mean, artificially low interest rates are dangerous. They create all kinds of misallocations of capital. They punish savers. So there's a lot of things that are wrong with super, super low interest rates. And rates have been rising lately, but rising modestly, which is, I think, exactly what you want, and rising for the right reason, which is because wages are finally rising, the economy is growing quicker. Now, to your point, though, are they going to take away the punch bowl and spoil the party at exactly the wrong time, right when it starts to go? My guess is that the economy can handle it, that there's enough optimism out there, there's enough small business confidence, enough hiring, for instance, that we can handle the rate hikes, and I hope so, and I believe so. Certainly financial markets believe it right now. Financial markets are very healthy. So I think we can do this. But it's a great thing, by the way, that Fed meetings and Fed normalizing the policy has become really kind of not news. It doesn't even really get attention. That's great for our country because if you remember, in the depths of the crisis and into, say, 2011, 2012 even, we were fixated on this. And, how can the Fed, at that point, it was the opposite of not only not normalizing, but the Fed constantly trying to add stimulus to the U.S. economy. And that's central planning in many ways at its worst. We're getting out of that now. We're getting back to, instead of always talking about Fed policy, now we're starting to talk about what are companies doing? What are earnings doing? How's the economy growing? And by the way, on that score, the Atlanta Fed has a model, a statistical model, so it's not somebody's opinion. And that model now ticked all the way up to 4.8 GDP growth for this current quarter. Now, that model moves around a lot. It's volatile, so that does not at all mean that we're going to end there. But if we're even in the neighborhood, of possibly a 4 handle on GDP growth, what that will do for this country, for middle-income workers, for our prosperity as a whole, will just be amazing. And, fingers crossed, I think we're going there.
But as our friend Jamie Pethokoukis points out, we still have a worker productivity stagnation problem.
Right.
And worker productivity, meaning rising standard of living, if that doesn't tick up, then you question where the growth's going to come from. And he makes one point that would be interesting for Trump to make, which is the immigrant entrepreneurs and how critical they are to the dynamism of the U.S. economy. 40% of Fortune 500 companies founded by first or second generation immigrants. More than half the nation's billion-dollar startups have an immigrant co-founder. So when it comes to bringing people to this country, allowing admittance to this country, people who are value adders, who are innovators and disruptors, we want to do that, don't we? Maybe it's something the president should stress more often.
Yeah, no, I'd like to hear him talk more about that. About one of the reasons that we're trying to crack down, I think, as a country so much on illegal immigration is because it's an affront to legal immigration. And even legal immigration, we can do better, I think, through a merit-based system. We need to, in my view, I think the president put a really reasonable compromise in front of the Democrats. We'll protect the DACA young adults, but in exchange, we're going to restrict chain migration, move to more of a merit-based system, eliminate the visa lottery system. But you're right. I'd like to see him talk more about the dynamism that they do bring to our country, and it is incredible. Hispanics, for example, are by far statistically the most likely people in America to start businesses. We love mom-and-pop operations that we hope become a lot bigger than that. So I want more of that. And to your point of productivity, it's a critical one. It's one of the reasons that wages haven't been rising is, quite frankly, I mean, it sounds a little harsh, but workers, if they're not getting more productive, they don't deserve a raise, right? But why have they not been more productive? It's not because they're not working hard. I would argue it's, again, a consequence largely of Fed policy in the past. Because of super low interest rates, companies were incentivized to engage in financial engineering, so share buybacks, big dividends to their investors. Wonderful for the owners of assets, by the way, that's a tiny percentage of America, though, who own really significant assets. Terrible for wage earners, and what they weren't doing as companies was investing in capital expenditures, in software, plants, technology, people. And when you don't do that, you don't get productivity gains. So I think that's coming, but that is also a slow process. Productivity isn't something that shows up tomorrow. I mean, it's like a weight loss program. It takes time, right? But the good news is, so far, the signs are CapEx is soaring. If that continues, then I think in coming years, we're going to finally see the kind of productivity that we got in the 80s and 90s. And you're exactly right. It's kind of one of the missing stories of why this century has been so tough so far, the 2000s, for working class people. I think the primary reason is a lack of productivity. But I also think that the solution is what President Trump's doing: cutting taxes, cutting regulation, normalizing interest rates on the Fed side. Let's get companies spending on CapEx, and let's get productive and earn raises again.
That makes sense to me. He is Steve Cortes, CNN political commentator who serves on the Trump Hispanic Advisory Council. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
You bet. Have a great day.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Folks, when shopping for a home mortgage, how much is great service, low closing costs, and competitive interest rates worth to you? At Townstone Financial, it's priceless. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
We have a 40-year-old daughter with metastatic stage 4 breast cancer, and the reason we needed to refinance is so we can help her. Zach said, yeah, we can do something, and believe me, he's my hero right now. He took enough money out to pay all my taxes, my insurances, everything is now escrowed. I love what he did, and didn't change any of the terms that he said to begin with. Your competitor was like a bad car salesman. Phenomenal job, Zach.
Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639, equal housing lender.
I told you how the MyPillow mattress toppers, 3 unique layers of comfort, evenly supports your body weight, helps relieve pressure points, and keeps your body temperature regulated all night, not too hot or too cold. So don't wait to get yours, because in June, you will save 30%. Plus, as a way of saying thank you, when you buy your mattress topper, you will get 2 free standard MyPillows. It is an unreal offer. Well, I'm drinking bubble water over here. Sugar and spice and everything nice. It's an unreal offer. 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off that mattress topper. Or get 1 low price on 2 MyPillows and receive free shipping, but you have to use the promo code Amy. There's a 10-year warranty on pillows and mattress toppers and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Nothing to lose. So go online or call now for these great deals and others, including 30% off pet beds, sheets, and more. Call 800-489-0201, promo code Amy, or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
I look at Balance of Nature and I look what it's doing for me as I've started taking it, and for the patients that I have that are taking it. It's been phenomenal watching the changes that have happened and how much healthier and how much more energy that they have. I haven't heard any negative feedback from any of my patients who have been taking the product. The thing that amazes me with it is that it's so simple.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Being successful in business means overcoming enormous obstacles to serve your customers and community. AM 560, The Answer, wants to shine a spotlight on businesses that are thriving. We want to celebrate their success by finding out what makes these businesses unique, successful, and what we can learn from them. We want to know how you built it. Presented by Chicagoland Waterproofing. To tell us how you built it, go to 560theanswer.com/built. That's 560theanswer.com/BUILT. Sponsored by Signature Bank and Ozinga.
Your local 1-hour heating and air conditioning knows how miserable it feels when your AC goes out. You want it fixed fast, fixed right, and get a fast quote. Unlike some companies, we don't give you a quote until we actually see what the problem is. Then we'll give you our straightforward price and always stand by our work. Right now, get savings on any AC repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1-HOUR.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
If you have pain, I hope you listen up. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of the side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you could be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com.
AM 560, The
Answer. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Kim Jong-un arrives courtesy of the Chinese. Dennis Rodman arrives courtesy of Potcoin.
That's spectacular.
And
did he take a 747 as well?
Donald Trump arrives on the wings of Chuck Norris. We'll talk to Rich Lowry about it at 8:38.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Gray skies, 63 degrees. 13-year-old boy accused of shooting and wounding a classmate and a teacher at his suburban Indianapolis middle school, expected to go before a judge this morning. A juvenile court hearing is set for this morning for the boy. Prosecutors are asking that judge to declare him delinquent because he's too young to be tried as an adult. President Trump and North Korea leader Kim Jong-un are in Singapore for their historic summit. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says you can already feel history being made.
The fact that our two leaders are sitting down face to face is a sign of the enormous potential to accomplish something that will immensely benefit both of our peoples and the entire world.
Senator Dianne Feinstein warns any agreement the U.S. tries to reach with North Korea will need to be tougher than the Obama deal with Iran.
North Korea stands out there as an isolated nation, becoming a nuclear power, selling weapon materials, and developing a weapon that could hit us.
Careful on your summer vacations in Arkansas. At least one boater has died after a sinkhole developed in the bed of a North Arkansas river, creating a sucking whirlpool that brought the boat and the boaters inside under. Arkansas Game and Fish Commission issued the warning this morning for boaters along the Spring River to avoid an area known as Sadler Falls. Chicago police say at least 11 were shot, 3 were killed in a 3-hour span on the city's south and west sides. 3 are recovering after an apartment porch collapsed on Chicago's north side. About 20 were on that porch at the time. An investigation is underway after 3 family members were found dead at a home in Darien. The bodies discovered inside an apartment building near 75th and Farmingdale Drive. A new poll shows J.B. Pritzker with a large lead in the race for Illinois governor. It's Quad City Times poll gives Pritzker a 16-point lead over Governor Bruce Rauner. Pirates reel off 5 runs in the 6th. They knock off the Cubs 7-1 at Wrigley. White Sox put the game away late with a Daniel Palka 2-run double and a 5-2 win over the Red Sox at Fenway. The news, a service of Lowe's. If you're an active or veteran U.S. military personnel, Lowe's would like to honor your service by offering you 10% savings every day on the purchases you make in-store or online. For details, visit lowes.com/military. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher says this is why you elected Donald Trump.
The president is correct in calling off the Eagles' White House visit, telling ungrateful, overpaid athletes that if you can't take a few minutes and not aggressively disrespect the national anthem, and you don't want to go to the White House, then your team, including its owner and coaches, are certainly not welcome either. This is why you elected Donald Trump.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicagoland Dan Proft here, and I'm here with my guy Ryan Kelly at thehomeloanexpert.com. He's one of us. He gets it. That's one of the things I think that separates you from others in a very competitive marketplace, Ryan. Why is thehomeloanexpert.com the place to go to buy or sell your home?
I'll give you a couple of things that really separate the Home Loan Expert office from all these other mortgage lenders. First of all, it's the way we take care of our clients. 15 years ago, when I was knocking on doors, trying to start up the Home Loan Expert and get in the business, I sat down at people's kitchen tables and I talked to them. And one of the biggest frustrations people had was they didn't trust mortgage lenders. They felt like they were shoved into loans. Well, we don't do that. We offer customer service that nobody else can match. And, of course, lower rates on better loans. And we do all types of loans. We do the VA loans. Heck, we close VA loans in 14 days. Nobody else does that. We do jumbo loans, cash-out loans, FHA loans. We can do a loan for about anybody. Heck, we have a bank statement mortgage. We don't even need your tax returns or pay stubs. Thinking about refinancing, now's a great time. 5 minutes can save you $500 a month. Apply online today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC.
8:35 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Got some delays on the CTA Blue Line right now. Trains are standing at Jefferson Park due to a mechanical issue. On the Edens Expressway inbound, it's heavy Elston to the junction. You have 23 minutes late Cook to Montrose outbound 30. Kennedy, an hour and 7 minutes. O'Hare to downtown with the delay starting at Foster. 45 minutes from Montrose, 50 in the Express. Outbound 56 minutes to the airport. Eisenhower, an hour and 5 minutes, 390 to downtown, 43 minutes from Manheim. Outbound an hour and 4 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 54 minutes. Ryan, 40 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound heavy Central Road to Bussy, then 2E to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound jams Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Adams Tollway. Eastbound Adams Tollway stop and go from the Des Plaines Oasis to Tri-State. The Reagan Tollway heavy 83 to the Tri-State, the Veterans Memorial. So southbound 290 to Roosevelt, northbound I-55 to North Avenue and Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Rather cloudy, high 73 today, mostly cloudy, 62 overnight. Warmer, more clouds than sun, and a high of 82 tomorrow. Currently 63, gray skies. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And so just hours away from, I think...
First face-to-face.
Yeah, CNN's got the countdown clock on.
11 hours.
Of course they do.
22 minutes, and now 19 seconds.
Is it breaking news if you got to wait 11 hours for it?
I mean, why
that's a question CNN
That's
could
fake
answer.
news, man.
And so what does Trump aim to get out of it? What does Kim Jong-un aim to get out of it? It's difficult to know.
And what will they wear?
But what would progress, if not immediate success, look like from the summit? For more on this topic, We're pleased to be joined by Rich Lowry, who, of course, is the editor of National Review, Fox News contributor, author of the book Lincoln Unbound. Rich, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So is this going to be, as I suggested, like a Red Dawn 2 ass-kicking? It's an under-heralded sequel. Remember, it's the North Koreans who invaded. It wasn't the Cubans and the Russians.
Right.
Yes.
I
Yes.
forgot. I think also in Olympus Has Fallen, the movie about the White House being taken over by a bunch of guys in a trash truck. I think they're North Koreans too.
All right. So which is it going to be more like, Olympus Has Fallen or Red Dawn 2?
I think neither. There's gonna be a bro hug at the end of this. Maybe not exactly a bro hug, but maybe a shoulder grab or something that indicates
piggyback ride
of feeling. Yeah, because I think Kim desperately wants a good summit, and I think Trump wants a good summit too. And I think you look at the polling on this thing beforehand, like 77% of Americans support the idea of having this summit, and if there's something that shows a reduction of tensions, it's going to be very popular domestically here in the United States, even if it's not great policy. And that's my fear. I think any relaxation of the sanctions is playing into the North Koreans' hands.
Well, we know that it's going to be President Trump, Kim Jong-un, and then 2 translators, and that's it that's going to be in the room. But they kept saying that this first meeting is just going to be a get-to-know-you kind of meeting, and that there may be a follow-on, and that possibly Kim Jong-un might be invited to the White House. Am I getting above my skis here?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure I would ever want this character in the White House, but I think the lowering of expectations is a good thing. If nothing happens at the summit and we are going to maintain the policy of maximum pressure, I think that's great. My fear is that just if there are warm feelings out of the summit, even if nothing's agreed, the South Koreans will want to take that and run with it and say, well, we have all these infrastructure projects, Mr. President, we want to pursue with the North. You're getting along with the maximum leader there. Let us go ahead. And it's going to be hard to say no. And if we can't say no to the South Koreans, and the Chinese will do everything they can to begin unspooling the sanctions. So my fear is that even if it's not our explicit policy to let up on the maximum pressure, that will be the result of this meeting tomorrow morning.
Much is made by the punditocracy that Trump really wants this to be successful. Of course he does, but that he's willing to do anything and put a veneer over something that potentially would be bad policy just in the hopes of trying to sell progress or some kind of victory towards peace to the domestic audience here. But couldn't you make the argument, as Holman Jenkins sort of makes in the Wall Street Journal over the weekend, that actually Kim Jong-un wants this more badly than does Trump, because he wants to prop up his regime, and there's a need for assistance beyond the Chinese to do that?
It could be. I mean, it's a little hard to know, and the key question is how low are they on cash reserves? I mean, if they literally run out of money, they have a big problem. But the North Korea's strategy over the last 30 years, which they've unfortunately played brilliantly, is to continually develop their nuclear and missile programs, sometimes surreptitiously in violation of agreements. At the same time, they're constantly negotiating over giving up those programs and getting economic benefits from doing it. So what's new here so far, and is somewhat encouraging, is that we haven't really let up the pressure. In the past, we've just let up the pressure in exchange for talks, which is insane. So if we can literally keep the pressure up and just see whether any vague promises come to anything, that's a reasonable approach. It's just I fear the worst. One, because National Review has never supported any summit meeting with any communist dictator ever. Even when Ronald Reagan was doing it. Two, just the North Koreans. This is all they do. This is what their life depends on it. They're really good at this. Whereas President Trump has and the U.S. government has about a dozen other plates in the air. Whereas Kim, this is all he's focused on is how to get out of the economic noose.
And what about China's role in all of this? We know that they provided Kim Jong-un the 747, so he would arrive in the same type of aircraft that President Trump did, and that they met twice last week, the president of China and Kim Jong-un.
Again, it's opaque. It's a little hard to tell, but it seems as though perhaps with the when Trump agreed to the summit that the Chinese feared getting cut out of the action. And it may be that Kim has used that to get the Chinese to relieve some of their pressure. Certainly there are indications that there's more border traffic now between China and North Korea than there was a little while ago, and Trump has obliquely referred to that as well in some of his public statements. I think China, their game, they don't want this problem to go away. This problem is very good for them because they can constantly use it against the West and the United States. You see it in the ZTE affair, this horrific state-owned enterprise in China that's violated all sorts of laws. Well, the China, we were on the verge of driving that thing out of business, but then we ended up giving up the pressure because China was going to help us have this negotiation with North Korea. That's the game that China always wants to play geostrategically.
Now, over the weekend, the sniping between President Trump and Prime Minister Trudeau raised some eyebrows.
Hey-ho, too soon.
And then one of them.
I honestly thought that was Photoshop.
Then one of them became unglued. That's how tense the atmosphere was.
He should go back to threading. He won't need to have a false eyebrow.
What about that? What about Larry Kudlow, who I know is a friend of yours, he was tough on Trudeau over the weekend, and it seems admitted, or reasonably so, that he thought there was progress being made. Trump's talked about eliminating trade barriers, eliminating tariffs, eliminating subsidies, kind of a new free trade Trump, and then Trudeau takes shots at him for the tariffs he has imposed, and then the whole thing blows up.
I'm still getting the ground truth on this one. It seems to me what Trudeau did is fairly typical. You're in a private meeting and everything's warm and cordial and everyone wants to get along, and then when you're giving your press conference, you want to play politics for your domestic audience, so you sound much tougher. So it just, on the basis of that, it didn't seem very good grounds for blowing the whole thing up. I do think the idea, one, that the Western alliance is ending is a little bit ridiculous. I mean, the ties here in terms of interest and values are very deep. They're not going away. Two, the Canadians have ridiculous tariffs to protect their dairy industry. The EU, the whole point of it is to create a relatively free trade bloc within the borders of the EU, and then have protection against competition outside the EU. So the idea that all these other countries are robust and pure, libertarian free traders is not true. I wouldn't necessarily embrace the president's rhetoric or tactics on a lot of this stuff, but I think the critics are a little over the top.
Do you think maybe Shania Twain can be enlisted to do a little shuttle diplomacy between the two countries, like Rodman style?
Yeah, I have to say, the idea that we need steel and aluminum tariffs on Canada for national security reasons struck me as ridiculous, but we shouldn't be going out of our way to actually see that we do need those tariffs for national security reasons. So I prefer the relationships between our leaders to be cool and correct, even if they have disagreements, rather than kind of outrageous and inflammatory.
I mean, look at Peter Navarro. He's like, there's a special place in hell for leaders like Trudeau. When it came to trade, He was on, Fox and Friends, and I thought the, hyperbole was a little too much. What did you think?
Yeah, and the real trade challenge is China. I mean, they're an enormous mercantilist power, has an enormous market that makes our firms play by their rules, go over there and give them our intellectual property, in effect, that allows them to sort of bully and intimidate other countries to going along with their rules, and that should be our target. And we need all these other countries to kind of help us pressure China. So I think China is a challenge the next 30 years, probably on par with the Soviet Union, and we need to be focused much more seriously on that.
Back here at home, this story that broke last week, sort of underreported, shocking. But Andy McCarthy at National Review took it up. The indictment of James Wolfe, the former security director for the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, leaking classified information to a New York Times reporter with whom he was having a personal relationship, and the Department of Justice coming down hard on him, as well as acknowledging that they called years worth of emails and other communications between this reporter and Mr. Wolfe. Jonathan Turley from GW Law had an interesting piece over the weekend where he suggests this is really bad news for Andy McCabe. Andy McCabe, who it admits to leaking classified information to New York Times, but said he had the authorization to do it. Jim Comey says there was no such authorization. Andy McCabe, who's already been referred for potential criminal prosecution. Boy, how do you not prosecute Andy McCabe if you're going to prosecute this Senate intel staffer?
Yeah, it's a little hard to know without knowing all the details. But, we're nailing people to the walls and ruining their lives over lying to the FBI, George Papadopoulos and others. You shouldn't lie to the FBI, but what's good for the goose should be good for the gander. And it shouldn't be that just people who happen to get caught up in the maw of a special counsel probe, they're the only ones who are held to the standard. So if it, as it appears, McCabe just flat out lied, I think he should be in a lot of trouble. And one point Andy McCarthy made is, you tell folks on the left, the president has executive privilege, and a presidential campaign shouldn't be just having a counterintelligence investigation against it like a foreign power lightly, and the president shouldn't be forced to testify lightly because he has sort of a unique role in our constitutional system. People, the left goes crazy. You're just a Trump apologist. You're just bending your knee to him and saying he's above the law. But then you actually, in a criminal investigation, leak investigation, you catch up a reporter, and all of a sudden, wait a minute, you can't do that. A reporter has a special status in our system. There's the First Amendment. There are all sorts of sensitivities around it. And, I think there's a lot to that point that, we do need to be careful around reporters, but the President of the United States also has his privileges and sensitivities.
Unless the reporter's named James Rosen, then not so much.
Exactly.
Rich Lowry, editor of National Review, Fox News contributor, author of the book Lincoln Unbound. Rich, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. Have a great day.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
This is Dan Props with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Everything big city Dem mayors like Rahm Emanuel do is for the kids, they tell us with ersatz earnestness. Rahm, tiny dancer I call him, is quick to take up cause celebs like the Parkland High School Gun Control Brigade in the name of school safety. What Rahm and his leftist colleagues won't do is change school systems run by the adults for the adults, even when some of those adults are child predators. In a blockbuster expose, the Chicago Tribune documented a long-running sex abuse scandal inside the Chicago public schools that should end Tiny Dancer's career, should be international news on par with the coverage given the Catholic Church's scandal, and that should serve as a warning to public school parents across the country. According to the Tribune, since Tiny Dancer was elected in 2011, 430 reports of sexual abuse have been investigated, with credible evidence of misconduct found in 230 of those incidents. Worse yet, the story identified repeated failures to screen out Chicago public schools employees with prior arrests related to alleged sexual offenses involving children. A lot of attention is devoted to holding Pauls and their appointees accountable for threats to kids in school that come from the outside. What about the threats they welcome inside and cover for?
You've heard of living trusts and how they can help protect your assets, but you may not know if a living trust is right for you. Or maybe you have questions about creating your own living trust. The fact is, almost everyone can benefit from a living trust, which can protect your assets from the court system and your loved ones from unnecessary expense and inconvenience. Learn more at a free seminar Thursday, June 14th at Papa Joe's Restaurant in Orland Park. Estate planning attorney Robert Zapolis will explain how to create your own living trust, estate planning under the new tax laws, why a will does not avoid probate, and more. Have your estate planning and living trust questions answered absolutely free. Don't miss this important seminar, Thursday, June 14th at 6:30 p.m. at Papa Joe's Restaurant, 145th and LaGrange Road in Orland Park. The seminar is free and a complimentary dinner is served, but you must make a reservation now. Call 708-478-1400. Call 708-478-1400. Again, 708-478-1400.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
16 million people suffer from depression in this country. 6 million of them have drug-resistant depression, which means they do not find any relief. Hi, my name is Ben Klein. And I know this very well, as my oldest daughter suffers from depression, and she did not find any relief from the drugs. We found TMS therapy, and we got her the treatment, and it completely changed her life. If you're one of those 6 million people who suffer from drug-resistant depression, contact us. It can change your life, too.
HPR centers in Chicagoland and Milwaukee offer TMS therapy. In just a few weeks, you can change your life. And it's FDA cleared. It's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Medicare. In a natural way, you can make real progress in the battle with depression. Cure or remission. Get a free consultation. 800-604-0208. 800-604-0208. HPR Centers. Go to endmydepression.com. End your depression.
How many times a day can you fuel up and go with better-for-you options at CVS Pharmacy? Let's find out. It's 8 a.m. and you're leaving the gym. You head to CVS to refuel and boom, 99-cent vitamin water. That afternoon, the slump hits. Vending machine? Nope, CVS, where boom. Belvita bars, 2 for $6. Finally, it's 5 p.m., so you hit CVS before the commute and boom. Pure Leaf Tea, 2 for $3. Stop by CVS Pharmacy and fuel up and go on smarter snacking and beverage options. Restrictions apply. See cvs.com/weekly ad for details.
You are a hero. You may not fight killer robots, but a crabby toddler can be a formidable foe. Luckily, you're armed with a Chrysler Pacifica. Its best-in-class Uconnect theater can defeat any temper tantrum. And when cargo space is in danger, Pacifica's trusty class-exclusive Stow and Go always comes to the rescue. Get a great deal at the Chrysler Incredible Sales Event.
Available feature based on the FCA US LLC Premium Minivan segment. Chrysler and Uconnect are registered trademarks of FCA US LLC.
Men, are you tired of those daily blue enhancement pills that take days, weeks, or months to work, if they ever work at all? Listen up. Now you can take Red, the new natural male empowerment pill that works on demand. Even your partner will notice the difference the very first time you use it. To prove Red won't disappoint like the others, you're invited to participate in our nationwide I Take Red Partner Reaction Guarantee Trial. We're seeking participants for this nationwide trial, not only to prove it works the very first time you try it. We guarantee your partner will also notice the difference. Forget those slow-acting blue pills and join those who proudly take Red. Over 50,000 pills have already been claimed and supplies are limited. So to ensure your participation in this free nationwide trial, you must call now.
Superior virility on demand. You only need to take Red once to see what all the fuss is about. Call immediately to participate in our free nationwide trial. Call 800-658-0723. 800-658-0723. Be one of thousands to proudly say, I take Red. 800-658-0723.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply. Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and this week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000
right now, because this free ticket offer expires this Friday.
Just text your zip code to 82,000.
AM 560, The Answer.
So did you watch the Belmont Stakes today?
I did.
Or on Saturday?
Saturday, yeah. Triple Crown winner. Was a long spell before... American Pharoah in 2015. Now you get 2 and 3 years.
Yeah, and Secretariat, right? Wasn't the first Triple Crown winner? That's why, hence the movie Secretariat.
No.
Remember? No. What did Secretariat?
I don't think anything you said in that statement was true.
I'm tired. But now his stud fees are up to get laid by Justify. Oh my God. Sorry.
Wow.
I mean, to have a child with Justify is going to cost $75 million.
$75 million to congregate with.
Now that's an expensive date. And you don't even know, if it's going to happen, but you're just hoping it happens. It better for $75 million. If it doesn't work out, do you think they get their money back? If it doesn't take.
Yeah, I don't know the horse business. I don't pretend to. That's more of a question for Bob Baffert. But Stud Fees was the name of my college garage band, by the way.
And what was it a cover band for?
Christopher Cross. Sort of counterintuitive.
But there's a movement online to get Justify to go to the White House because Justify is not a flaming liberal. I mean, Justify is nothing. He's apolitical.
Wouldn't
right?
it be great if you could get Justify to stand for the anthem at the White House with Trump? That'd be something.
Oh, it's a beautiful horse. Oh, that coat on that horse, and boy, he could run.
Yeah. And Bob Baffert knows how to mask the drugs that he gives his horses so they don't.
No, he did it. No.
Oh. No, of course
Justify,
not.
No, Justify's
no, of
fine.
course not. I'm kidding. Of course. There's
Bob Baffert from Arizona.
There's no corruption in the horse business.
No.
Of course not.
Well, don't they drug test?
It's as clean as prize fighting.
They drug test them, right, before they go out there?
Sure they do.
Sure, assumption is the mother of all screw-ups. Thanks so much for making us part of your day, Justin Kosick, our technical director. Thanks to him. Our associate producer, Quinn McCarthy, and Keith Conrad, our executive producer. We're back here bright and early tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Now let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
An Arizona man and a Lyft driver charged in a deadly Chicago crash. 5-run, 6-inning lifts the Pirates over